And we're podcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Spooky.
Happy Halloween, motherfucker.
We're going to talk about spooky stuff. Brains.
Trick or treat.
Boo.
Happy Halloween.
So the music is in it.
No, I just put it in there.
No, but we were talking about whether or not we were gonna do the music or not.
I literally did it just because everyone said we weren't going to do it, and I thought I'm going to play to my strengths and go against the curve here.
You gave us a trick.
I sure did.
Not
All
a
right.
treat.
Yeah, I'm like now give me a treat.
You shouldn't say those words with these dogs in the room.
Oh.
Oh,
Dwight just likes
no.
ice.
Don't
not
call
real treats.
CL a dog.
Hey now.
Hey, that's
he
my
knows I
friend.
didn't mean it.
Well, hi. We're Crosscut Cinema.
CL was here with us. He doesn't get a microphone.
Unfortunately,
He's
this
just
is
hanging
the
out.
first time that Madison and I have actually met CL in person.
The
and
first
it's
time
amazing.
for me in the
This is the first time for me in the A Pilot podcast universe.
I'm Franny.
I'm Bridget.
I'm Madison.
I think he just lost.
What is it?
I think he just his soul left his body.
I'm freezing here. It's Logan.
Thanks.
Hey.
I just watched
It's your boy.
Logan's soul seep to the ceiling and just bounce there for a little bit and then come back in.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all
And
about.
that's
kids.
what it's all about.
Okay, guys, this is not good so far. Let's just get to what we're talking about here. Okay.
It's not bad.
It's not great either.
Oh, do you want to start over?
No, we're gonna keep it because that's what we do.
Okay, fine.
All right? Any sort of professionalism is out the window.
All right.
That's
fair
We're
our
enough.
just here to
brand.
talk about spooky movies.
Yeah, so basically we're a pilot
I'm sorry?
we are a podcast. I almost said we are a pilot podcast, but not thinking that that's what that was, just so used to those words going together.
Right.
We're a podcast.
We're a Crosscut Cinema podcast.
Yeah, what we do is we review 2 movies, basically in full spoiler review. So if you haven't seen these movies and you don't want to spoil it for you, do not proceed. Also, we will have timestamps listed in the description. If you guys want to skip to the Halloween Kills part of the review, I know that's basically what a lot of people are going to be here to do. We'll get into that there, but first we're going to review the 2018 movie.
Or if you're like, I need to hear some people's thoughts on Halloween 2018 before I go see Halloween Kills.
I know, but let's
you
be
can do
real.
that
There's
too.
going to be at least 100 of you that are like, okay, I just want to hear what they have to say about this movie because I'm consuming all the content about it right now.
Yeah, fair enough. So
Which
that's
is
you.
valid.
Hi, how are you?
How's it going?
I hope you're doing well.
I hope you liked it.
And if you didn't like it, I hope you leave a comment. And
Yeah,
tell us why.
I hope you hear
Yeah.
our opinions and you leave us yours. The more you know.
Anyway,
We,
Halloween.
yeah. So 2018, we actually saw that at the drive-in, not together,
But
but
together.
we all went at
Before we were friends.
Yeah,
even,
before we were
'cause We did
friends.
not meet until
20.
around
later.
2019.
Yeah, I was going to say 2019, but I didn't know for sure.
You guys don't know?
No,
I actually don't know.
All the years.
When else
I
would it
don't
be?
know what
2020?
Logan, the years start coming and they don't
Stop
stop coming.
coming.
Oh my God, we miss you, Smash Mouth.
No, we don't.
No, we missed the old you. You know, we miss Schrock.
Shrock.
Bring back Schrock.
Schrock.
Stop
Yeah.
with the anti-Semitism.
They should just do
Yikes.
Smash Mouth, but get a different singer. They should. Just
He's
take
the
him
whole.
out.
Come on, he's the all-star. You can't take him out.
We can just be done with Smash Mouth. That's fine too.
I feel
you
like
know?
I'm
that
fine with
book's been
that.
closed for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. We don't need you to come back, really. Actually,
But we do miss the old.
I like
you.
how he promptly quit after that video.
Yeah,
leak.
you see Kyle on camera, you're probably gonna have to quit doing whatever you're doing, or someone's gonna cancel you for you.
Yeah.
I hope
Yikes.
he goes to rehab or something.
Yeah, that
Or
video
something.
was so messy. It made me very uncomfortable.
You know what else is messy and uncomfortable?
Me?
Halloween. Well, yeah, but
Okay, so clearly David Gordon Green knew what he was talking about when he went into work on the Halloween franchise. You can see it all throughout this movie that he has a massive respect for the original work. And loves it so much that I seriously feel like he feels that the rest of the movies are a disgrace to the first one. Because he directs them like he fucking hates the old movies. And that's okay, because there's a lot to not like about it. But
And
the way
in a
he
way,
so significantly is let me show as much face of Michael Myers as possible. Let me connect him the least amount possible with having any sort of motive or reason. And I get that because that's what was interesting about the first movie. But there is something to be said about like how much of an effort he puts in to hate fuck the other movies. Like the way he shows Michael's face so much is like kind of annoying, and it makes him less scary. There's a reason why they've concealed him in the other movies. It's not just to keep a tradition and to keep like a vagueness about him. It's also because it's a lot more imposing when you don't see the person behind the mask.
Like, that's the scary part. Like, the imagining of what his face might be.
He's just a shape.
Like,
Yeah.
it's terrifying.
And while I agree with him, there's a lot that I don't like about like the subsequent movies, and there's a lot that I think that like is very silly in terms of the efforts to shoehorn.
There was a lot of stuff about the
familial
older movies.
relationship.
There was a lot of stuff about the older movies that shoehorned it into doing something really specific. And
Yeah.
if they would have kept it going that way, not only would they get their ideas be like dry after a while, it would just get to the point where there's nobody he could go after.
It's like his
if he
third
kills
cousin.
all of his family members, like, oh, I'm gonna kill my cousin's dog. Like, what do you have left, bro?
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing, is if he starts accomplishing said goal in these movies, you're gonna run out of people for him to murder.
This movie gives a sick burn to that, like right away.
I
too.
know. I was
They
thinking
do.
about that, actually.
They came for him, yeah.
So yeah,
And it's so funny because the person who made them related was John Carpenter. So it's like, you know, it's weird to have so much love for the first one and so much hate for the second one when it's by the same guy. That just tells you how divisive that idea in the Halloween franchise is and how much people don't like it.
I don't like it. I'm one of those.
But
people
I
who's
still
like,
love those
don't like
movies.
it.
All these movies are it's my favorite horror franchise. Like, it is the best one.
And like I think that the thing is that to me, like about the subsequent movies, there are elements of them that are really good and improve on things that that they were starting to do with the original. And I wish that like it wasn't so black or white for him. Like he could ignore the shit that he didn't like.
It feels like
and
he
then take a
personally
little.
is like Halloween 2 through the Rob Zombie films, all of them. I'm going to basically say fuck you to all of that. And I'm going to make it so apparent for everybody. Like, for instance, in the H2O film, there's a scene where in the bathroom where like there's this mother and daughter and like they're in like a fucking like, you know, like a stop, like one of those like rest stops on the highway, and it's totally abandoned. And they're in there and the lights are broken and they're using the men's bathroom, and Michael comes in and he's like, you know, looking at them between the stalls and shit, and you think he's going to kill them, but he oddly just takes the keys out of her purse and leaves. In this one, he's like, I hate that idea of Michael having some sort of methodology or not caring. Like, I just want him to be like a brutal massacre. Like, I want him to be a fucking beast. So the people who are in the bathroom, he shows no mercy to, and he brutally murders everyone at this gas station. I mean, the fucking point where you're like, holy shit. And that is a direct line to be like, this Michael Myers is not the same one in those franchises. This one isn't like all weird with a purpose or wants to only do specific things. He's just a brutal killer. And that's cool, but it's also like, it's weird that he felt the need to put that scene inside the bathroom. It feels like he hates that scene in H2O.
It is like it's a great scene though in this movie.
No,
That's
it does
the thing
really
about
well.
it,
I
though.
love the denture scene where he.
Yes.
There was a meme when this movie first came out that like Michael crushes some teeth and like spills them over the stall door, and people are like, those are his dentures because Michael Myers has to be old as fuck by now. And it's like, that's so fucking good. Like imagining an old man like, here you go.
And I mean, they do show him to be like old.
Yeah, he looks like Creed from The Office.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't want him to show his
As
face.
he
I'm
should.
like, I just keep seeing Creed. Like, I just keep seeing Creed. Please, like, either put a Dracula cape on him or fucking put the mask back on him. I'm done with this.
Or just like shroud him in a little more shadow.
But it's
honestly.
because he wants to be so different than the franchise.
I guess.
And in a lot of ways it makes it feel not entirely like a Halloween movie, but at the same time there's so much that's really good about this movie.
and that
it makes
does
up
feel
for
like
it.
a Halloween movie.
Like the way that he goes through like the neighborhoods, like just the way he interacts with suburbia is the thing that makes Michael Myers scary. He's the weirdo that could be walking through your backyard and then suddenly stab you because you're in the way. That's what makes him so scary.
Without like rhymes or reason.
Yeah, he's just going through backyards terrorizing people for the sake of the game of it. Like he enjoys scaring and hurting and killing people.
It's like the thrill of like the hunt.
And a suburb
kill.
is filled with a bunch of defenseless people. Like
Yeah.
there's so many children in the suburbs, and like it's not like a hardened part of town where everybody's gonna have a gun or be prepared for violence. It's rich people, and they're not expecting a fucking brutal killer to come through their back door and stab them.
I don't
They don't even
normally-
lock their screen doors at night.
Yeah, I don't normally
Right.
find like slasher scary. I normally get like more frightened by like the ghosty stuff on Halloween and like shit like that. But like Michael Myers is the only slasher films that actually scare me.
And this is like I think our common complaint with 2018 is that it's just not scary enough.
It's not scary enough. And
But
let me
it
tell you
still
something.
has its moments where it's pretty good.
Like the bathroom scene is a moment for sure.
And I love the entire third act. Like as far but for an action scene though. I love it because I care about the characters, and I love it because it's well shot. But it really doesn't feel like horror when he's fighting with Laurie, because Laurie's a bad bitch, and like she's gonna get his ass.
And also she's
like
been waiting this for so long.
There's never a moment where you actually think like for sure like she stands no chance. She stays a level adversary the entire film. That's the appeal of it. But that does make it inherently not very scary when he's hunting her specifically. And that's why those side characters being involved, I feel like another way this movie kind of failed was they should have killed more people. Like, in the sense that, like, making it scary and having any stakes.
Right.
The shitty boyfriend didn't even die. Oh, no, we lost the peanut butter on my penis, Dad. Oh, no, what a tragedy. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Such a weird line.
Kill somebody I care about, because that's the inherently interesting part of horror movies. If you want to make them good, you make the characters interesting. And that makes their demise that much more tragic.
Especially because the characters in this movie are really interesting. So it would be
there's
better
there's
to have
tons
them
of them that are good. The ones that die are the ones that I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm glad they're dead. Like the weird, like rapey friend who was like, I'm gonna follow you home and make sure you kiss me. And I got a boner right now. And it's like, good, die, please die. I'm ready for you to die.
Right.
Yeah,
or
for
like
sure.
the peanut butter on my penis, Dad. I get that he wasn't a
so
bad
annoying.
character, but he was so annoying, and he was such a bad character in it.
And like he felt so like offensive. I'm like, stop, just stop being mean to her.
It
Stop
also
being
it felt
mean to
like they were
Laurie.
trying to pass on like, oh, she's got the kooky dad who's kind of funny sometimes, but has a good heart. And it's like, no, he just gives me like annoying asshole vibes. He's like, me and your dad used to trip mushrooms in the woods, and he was a fucking lunatic. It's like, why don't you mind your own business and don't tell somebody that?
That was actually in Halloween Kills, wasn't it?
No. It's a whole different thing in Halloween
But they
Kills.
reference it in Halloween
They reference
Kills.
it.
They flipped it.
They flipped
Damn, I
it.
didn't want to say that yet, but yeah, they
Sorry.
flip it. They flip it. That's why it's brought back up. You find out that her dad was the weirdo. Which it was a surprise.
Right. He's
Yeah.
a
No
weird
surprise
dude.
at all. His death was brutal though. I'll give them that. I mean, that was fucked up.
Yeah.
The flashlight inside the guy's head.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was insane.
Dude, that was
really
insane.
was.
That flashlight in the head scene was
I remember
insane. The scene where they're talking about like, what'd you bring for lunch? He's like, chocolate pudding or whatever. Like it was like some sort of bad food, and they had an argument about each other's food. That felt like a reference to Halloween 5, where there's these dumb cops in which whenever they would come on screen, they'd start playing like clown noises and air horns literally in the movie.
That's so funny.
And I think that this movie's cop scene is a total reference to that, and being like, hey, I can make cops kind of funny and relatable without making them like so fucking annoying like in Halloween 5. And in that part, I get why he referenced it and changed it, and I liked that change. But it was like totally obvious to me that he was like hate fucking those characters.
Yeah, like I just don't see the need to like specifically reference the other movies to say I think it's garbage.
Yeah, and maybe that was not even his intention. Maybe he did it subliminally, but it's fucking there, bro. I mean, to make two dumb cop characters, but make them actually likable, but look almost exactly the same as the other cop characters and act almost exactly the same, just feels so deliberate to me. There's no way it could be an accident.
Right. I will say this, like I think my favorite scene in the movie is actually the opening scene, like when they're in the prison and like talking about Michael. I think that scene is actually genuinely very suspenseful, and I love
the only thing I can't dig on. I like that whole scene and everything, but there's a couple of like mental illness shots that are like
that's
really
true.
kind of campy and not believable
And uncomfortable too. It feels a little like overdone.
I mean, I think that the discomfort you feel from it is like kind of a
No,
good
it's
thing.
intentional. I mean, with the umbrella and everything too, and the it was very camp. It felt the most camp thing in the movie, and it's kind of weird because the rest of the movie is treated so earnestly. But then it opens with them in this weird fucking like asylum where there's like a checkered board floor.
Yeah, like the editing is all like not like the rest of the
"Say
movie
something,
either.
say something, Michael," and then it cuts to like the credits. That felt so different than the rest of the movie, but it is kind of good.
I think it's suspenseful, and I think it's a good way to open the movie,
But
and I think it's
doesn't it
visually
almost
striking.
feel like unrelated though?
A little bit. I definitely get that. It's like disjointed.
I don't know.
Like
I think,
even if you say, oh, it's just the podcasters like like side of the story. Like if you say it's just because of those podcasters and they were individually like that in the movie, they really didn't act that ridiculous in any other scenes. And it wasn't that like showing. I'm not saying it's a bad scene.
They were very provocative, I think, to Lori and others.
Definitely, but it was more in like a way of like, wow, how disgusting and like how greedy they are.
Yeah.
But in that scene, it was like so much like it felt like a production being put up on a stage because it was just so theatrical. And it's not that I have a problem with that. I think that that's fine. But there's something to say about it when the movie's tone is totally different than the rest of that scene. Like. It really does switch it up after that.
I like the scene individually, I think, but I'm like it is a little bit. It's not quite cohesive.
Like
but
if
I do like
if
it.
that movie was in a scene in the 90s in which people weren't that well aware of like mental health stuff too, I feel like that scene would really slap for people because it was so well shot and like had so much good tension in it. But I just think it just aged badly. But even more so, it doesn't fit the rest of the film. This movie has a lot of tonal issues, but it's also the times when it's good, it's like really fucking good, guys. Like there's moments where you just like, this is the kind of movie where it has scenes that get you hyped up and make you say like, fuck yeah.
Right.
Oh,
all the
definitely.
time during the movie. Like it's really an adrenaline ride more so than like a horror film. I feel like you're hyped up on like Jamie Lee like the whole time.
Yes.
Like you're ready to be Laurie Strode. You're ready to go fuck shit
bad
up.
bitch energy the whole time.
100%.
Like to me, it feels almost like a thriller instead of like an actual horror movie.
Yeah.
I get that.
Because like I don't like I don't feel as much of the fear when watching it, especially compared to like the second movie when we went in. I was just like, holy shit after. But like comparing that to how I felt with the first one, the 2018, I just was like, I mean, I was interested and I was intrigued and I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was really well done, but like I just wasn't afraid.
It was missing like a little extra kick.
Like a little extra spice.
It's closest to compare it to like T2.
I feel like
It really feels like Terminator 2 for sure. Like legitimately.
Yeah, I feel like it's trying like really hard to be like a good movie in the way that like the original Halloween is like a good iconic movie. Like I feel like it's trying really hard to be a part of that canon so much like it is the new continuity and it's trying really hard to
And here's the
assert
thing.
itself as like
there's
an
times
artsy
where it totally
movie.
works too.
And it does that, but it also forgets that it has to be scary too.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing about that's what the magic of the original Halloween is. It's the perfect balance between like
like
an,
you have,
like an actual like a really good movie like
I mean the first
in terms
Halloween
of
movie
technical filmmaking.
The first Halloween movie is just so like it's like an Oscar worthy like Frankenstein.
Yeah,
In
I
the
mean,
sense of like it's really kind of a simple story and it has a really simple premise like but it's so well made. All the characters like the teenagers are so corny and annoying, but that's the goal.
But it works.
That's
And, like-
literally the goal. Like they want you to be like, oh, these characters are gonna die. They're trying to soften the blow of the fact that these people are gonna be butchered to death.
Right. And like not to do a review of the original Halloween that already
We already
exists,
did that. You guys
but
should
like
listen
in
to
terms
it.
of the technical filmmaking, it's amazing, and then it's also really scary. Like that's a really scary movie.
That movie's
still
scary
to
as
this
fuck.
day.
Yeah. If you go, you
And
can go on
so-
YouTube and there's videos of audience reactions to the end of the movie. You will hear people screaming and crying
Like,
and
when it
jumping
came
out of the
out?
movie. Yeah.
That's
Wow,
crazy.
that's crazy
they
that
did
there's
a-
footage of that.
Because they're the most profitable indie movie of all time.
Wow,
so when
that's
they were
insane.
starting to actually go onto screens, the company themselves were sneaking cameras into the movies.
That's wild.
To get that
That's
reaction.
smart.
That was or earlier Paranormal Activity shit because they would bring it to the press and be like,
Right.
listen to this.
But
That's like
such
Paranormal
a-
Activity marketing before.
That's such a good way to do like a commercial for
I-
horror too,
yeah.
because you don't
Look,
give
it's
away any of the
scary.
scares.
That,
yeah.
like,
Right,
why
I
don't more
love
people
that.
do that? And I it really like it pisses me off that people feel the need to sell horror movies because people go see horror movies no matter what. They always make money. Any horror movie you make will make money.
Right.
That's the way they're designed because they cost nothing and you put them out for whatever. It's like make a good horror movie, make it cheap, that's awesome, and just get an audience reaction for the trailer. Like I don't want to know anything about it. Bring me in totally blind.
But yeah, I think that like, and I think Halloween 2018 really wants to be as iconic as Halloween is, and it like wants to be as like technically good of a movie and like a cultural reset like Halloween was, because it really was a cultural fucking reset. But like it forgets to also be scary, and I think that's its biggest issue. And I think it's a tone thing. Like you were
and there
saying.
is, and you know, like I love the fact that John Carpenter worked on the music again and he
Yeah.
got his son involved. But I do have a critique though. They have this thing added to the theme, and it's basically where they take like a bow and they run it across an electric guitar, and it makes that that noise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like it?
I think it's really good, but I think when you put in so much of the movie, it's an action tempo song. Like that, like if you listen to Rob Zombie's Halloween, he had two themes. He had one like creepy one, like the original John Carpenter one, and then he had one that was like a high pace, like super actiony horror theme. And I think you can do that if you use both. But the problem is that chord thing is used through the whole fucking film. It is used constantly. And for me, I'm like, I get it. Like the adrenaline's high, but give me some tension. Like play some like really soft, creepy noises when someone's like lurking around the house. But the problem is when Laurie Strode's running around the house and doesn't know where he is, the music is the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not scared because she's got her action music on because she's going to punch him in his fucking nuts. Like, I'm not afraid. You're missing the part that makes it like the fun part of the movie. And the thing is the movie's still fun, but it disappoints on the number one promise, which is that it's going to be scary.
And I think that
don't call it a horror if it's not going to be scary.
And I think in a lot of ways, Halloween Kills is a lot better for that. I think the score of Halloween Kills is better, but like, yeah, I think that. I think this movie should have been a little bit more scary.
I feel like this movie's scariness was heightened by the experience in which we saw it, though, which was kind of nice. True. Because, like, we saw it at a drive-in where, like, they had somebody walk around as Michael and shit like that.
No, it's good for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
So, like, the Laurie Strode character is actually a character.
Yes, she's
And there's
amazing.
only 2 movies that did that before, and that was the first Halloween and Halloween H2O. Mm-hmm. And each version of her is totally different. And the thing about this movie is this is my favorite version of her.
Yes.
Because it's the most realistic.
Yeah.
And it's the most empathetic because she's going to have to do things that you as an audience member would generally disagree with. Like, for instance, run off on her own and try to kill the man himself. These are things that you would generally be like, don't do that. But because she has this fucking energy about her, and because you know that she's fucking tough as nails, you know,
you're just like, yeah, you might be able to
like,
do this,
damn,
bitch.
she might really fuck his shit up.
Right. Also,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
Like, that's something that I love about this movie and that they've done in, like, both of these movies, actually, is, like, they paid attention to how someone who has been through these experiences would act. Because
she feels real.
She feels like a real person with PTSD.
I mean, like, she's so good in this. Like, I remember I read something about, like, people, like, we talk about fan casting all the time on here, but I remember somebody saying that they would pay a shit ton of money to see Jamie Lee Curtis play Samus Aran in the Metroid movie because she just has this militantness about her.
Yeah, she's
while
awesome.
still being totally, like, exposed, where, like, you see everything that she's about and she's so honest.
And like,
but she's so fucking tough. It's like, go ahead and stare into, like, the weakest part of me. Like, I'll admit to you that I'm terrified. And, like, it's because I should be, and so should you, because this shit's supposed to be this scary. But the problem is sometimes I'm not scared of Michael because she's so not afraid. Like, the music could have really changed that. If you would have done, like, creepier, softer music, at least I could have kind of, like, you know, envisioned myself in this situation. When it's all high action, like, if I was being chased by a killer, you can guarantee I would be fucking crying. And, like, I'd be fucking crying my eyes out.
It gives it, like, WWE energy.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like Venom.
It feels like, and then, but then, like, the scenes where Jamie Lee is, like, vulnerable, like, those scenes are really good, and I wish we got to see a little more. Like,
the best.
Actually, I really
like
the dinner scene
is great.
Absolutely.
When she just, like, starts crying and it's really awkward for everybody, that feels, like, really real.
And then when she's, like, out and, like, she's, like, about to walk into traffic and she's drunk and, like, you know, the granddaughter walks up to her, that whole explanation of just, like, the darkness and, like,
yeah.
And then the mom explaining her PTSD from it and, like, explaining, like, what she went through because of her mom's situation. And then you're like, wow, it really is, like, a cycle of trauma here.
It is.
Trauma.
And like, that's how most trauma is.
And it's like Michael did that.
Yeah.
He fucking did that.
He did do that.
And like when you think about that in the context of... Sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
No, you're good. You can go.
When you think about it in the context of what Halloween Kills eventually has to say, which I don't want to talk about it right now because I don't want to spoil that before people are ready for it. But it's really interesting in the context of the second movie.
I'll say this. The movies, as they go, it seems like from 1 to 2, there was definitely a specific thought in mind that was carried out slowly and kind of dumped on people in a way. And I think it's cool, but it's a lot.
We'll talk.
But yeah, with this movie, I literally love the fucking crazy ass doctor. It's the worst thing ever. I cannot believe they put a fake Loomis in there.
Right.
That whole thing was the worst. That brings
it's
it
like
down.
a clickbait
For me,
Loomis.
I literally want to make a movie because there's a version you could make where you could just cut that whole character out of the film and it would be a better movie.
Yeah.
And same thing to say about the other movie too, I might add. That seems to be a problem with David Gordon Green. He seems to put in characters that make his movies worse. This character made it fucking worse. Wouldn't it have just been better if it's like, okay, there's no doctor taking care of Michael anymore because Dr. Loomis spent his whole life trying to do it and he died and he never saved it. It's like no other doctor should care. So the fact that there's a doctor who's like still obsessed with this person, even though for like the first fucking 10, 20 years of his incarceration didn't know him, says that he has some weird sick obsession with him.
Well, and the other thing is too, it overcomplicates and overcrowds the film. And something that's really good about the original Halloween is that it's very simple. Like there's not a lot like
just
of
two
moving
girls
parts
smoking
here.
weed to Blue Oyster Cult, dude. That's literally the movie.
And
Right.
like he just goes after Lori because he like saw her.
And
Like,
yeah,
I just
and
like
it
that
just-
simplicity, you know?
Right. And I think that it overcomplicates it
Because he was
again in an
because he
effort
was
to be-
inside of the Myers house while she dropped a key off into the mail envelope.
Yeah.
Right.
That is the reason he ruined her entire existence.
Yep.
That's so much more interesting, and I like that the film really does that. That's one of the best aspects of the new, like, you know,
Yeah.
the new, what do you call it?
Continuity.
Continuity.
That's
canon,
what I always
the new
refer to it as,
canon,
the new
whatever you want to call it.
continuity.
That's one of the brighter things because it's like it really did suck when he had such a motive. It made him so much less
Because
scary.
it
Yeah.
makes it feel like it could
I
happen
feel like
to
old
anybody
Michael
anywhere.
could approach me. I'd be like, dude, I'm not related to you, bro.
I'd be like, whoa. 23 and me,
And
bitch.
it also made him feel like when he would kill black people, more fucked up. You know?
Right, yeah,
Because he
right.
never let a black person live.
Correct.
Or did you guys? Okay, we're gonna talk about this. I'll get into that in Halloween Kills. I was about to mention the fireman thing. I feel like I should wait.
Yeah, I think you should wait until
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
conversation to be had.
Dude, Dwight is literally killing me right now.
I'll scoop him.
This dog is pushing all of his weight onto me.
Poor Dicky.
He does the lean, you know?
Yeah.
the lean.
He leans like a drunk guy outside of a bar. He's just like,
Yeah, well, like the other thing I like too about the Lori character in this movie, I think this is my favorite Lori as well.
Yeah.
Is like you get to see something cool, which is like she's like the final girl, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you have a recurring like the same final girl, like she just like goes through the same shit over and over, and every time it's just like and then lives.
yeah. Neve Campbell's just like, oh no, I'm still not dead.
Right.
Bam, 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 bam,
And
bam.
like they don't change,
like-
they don't
Scream,
grow.
Yeah, but then for Lori, like you get to see like this is an experience that has changed her and she's a different person now. And like I think that's really cool that she's not like just repeating the same, you know, fucking movie over and over again. She gets to do different things. And I think that's cool.
But
I love
you
Jamie
did
Lee
bring
Curtis.
up a good point that it almost does make it like less scary at times with how not
and
scared
I feel like
she
I feel like
is.
none of that's the problem of the movie's plot.
Yeah.
It is literally the problem of the movie's pace as well as the music.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you
think-
could really make. I mean, we still like her, so we would still fear her death. Just make us feel a little bit more like things are more ominous. When you give her so much badass energy and badass music and shit, you're overfueling the film. Like it's running on too much hype.
And definitely
It feels like she's on fucking steroids. Like she's
Right.
never afraid of the man.
And definitely like give her some badass moments. I want that for sure.
Also, she can be afraid and still be a badass.
Absolutely. I
And-
feel like
And
fear,
like, there's like one scene of that in this whole movie, and it's like we could have used a little bit more of that because we could have felt something then.
yeah, I just wanted to have more tension, and I think it's like kind of a more of a direction thing than it is like a plot or a script thing.
Yeah.
It's like a direction and tone, and I think the score is a part of it as well.
yeah.
And I think the way it's shot too, like it always frames her like in a physical way of being like very like badass and on equal footing as Michael. And I think if we just maybe like shot her looking like small or like in a big empty space, and she's like small and like trying to like
The scene where the
You know?
younger one, like the granddaughter, is stuck in the backseat with an unconscious Michael, and there's a crazy doctor in the driver's seat.
ooh yes, that's a good scene.
It would be so much better if it was just like the scene, like when he finally died, you know, like when like Michael crushed him. Wouldn't it have been like so much better if like he didn't have to do that part and they were just like she was like stuck in the backseat with him and like she was locked in and didn't know how to get out.
Right.
She had like break a window to get out and that's how he woke up. I'm telling you, this movie could be so much better if the doctor was not there. Like, he actually ruins the tension in most scenes.
Yeah, it's just like a hindrance to the plot almost.
And it's like not.
It doesn't need to be there.
I want you to kill Michael. It's like, what the hell is this? Like, I thought this was like supposed to be a serious take on the Halloween series. Like, that part's really fucking bad.
Yeah, it's like, where does that fucking come from?
It's really,
for what reason?
And it's weird because the tension in the earlier part of the film, like, you have this kid and he's like coming back from hunting with his dad, right?
Well,
and
I think he's going hunting.
Or he's going hunting with his dad.
And he's missing dance class for this poor guy.
And he's a gay, and that's cool. And like, that whole scene is shot with really good tension. It has funny moments in it, like when he accidentally shoots the one dude.
It is scary too.
But it's scary. And the reason why is because they played to their strengths there, and you really didn't know what was going to happen to that kid.
Right.
And like when they do scenes where it's like, I'm the evil doctor and I'm going, it's like, what the fuck? You're making me lose that suspension of disbelief. Like, you're making me think about it too hard. You're making me think about why he would do this too much.
And it's weird too. Like, yeah, it just feels like a moment to be like, this is going to be our Loomis character. Just kidding.
JK, there's no Loomis character.
Boy. Not like those other movies who keep having Loomis characters. You know, and it's like, stop. You don't have to do it. You didn't have to have it all. That would be the biggest thing.
Also, there's plenty of there's two movies that are perfectly fine without a Loomis character.
Right.
The reason why Dr. Loomis was great is because of Donald Pleasance. Yeah. That was the good part of Dr. Loomis. That's what made him interesting to watch. And then Malcolm McDowell was good too. And like, that's because he's such a good actor. But even then, like, I could have done without the Malcolm McDowell thing. I could have done without that Loomis. Like, Donald Pleasance was the fucking shit.
He's the man.
I love his voice, like his old school like actor voice. It made like every scene with him in it amazing. And then you add this weird like German like Nazi scientist dude coming off.
Like, what's going
he came off like a Nazi scientist, this therapist.
Oh yeah, he came off like he belonged in fucking American Horror Story
or on stage with Smash Mouth.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, crushing Schnitzel with Smash Mouth.
Either way.
Crushing Schnitzel with Smash Mouth.
Crushing it.
Fucking Smash Mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean. I hate the character of the boyfriend.
I feel like you do get a little more like fear and reality from the Michael situation with like the daughter and like the granddaughter.
Yeah, because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and like they're more scared of Michael. And the thing is,
they don't do that like the fucking like weird. Like, I like that like super intense noise. But for like action sequences, for running, you know?
Like the ones with the daughter and the granddaughter, those action sequences were the best.
Dude, and like the daughter had the best scene in the whole movie.
Like the older.
Yeah, Judy.
I love that character. I think she's so interesting and complex.
When she's like pretending she can't shoot Michael, she's like, I can't do it. And he like gets all like, oh, this bitch can't even do it. So he peeks his head out and she's like, bop, got you, bitch. It's great.
And I mean, like, that's really the moment she's been training for her like entire life. And
but
like,
also rejecting.
But also, also rejecting. But like, and I really think that it's such a great thing that they kind of brought in her trauma. It's not just like Laurie's trauma anymore. It's like passed down to her. And that's like very realistic to me. Like trauma.
Yeah, like just like the big impact that he had. Just like the butterfly effect of it all.
And it works.
Absolutely.
Go watch our review for the butterfly effect. But it like works thematically too, which is cool.
Yeah. It like builds their little universe.
It does, yeah. And like, yeah, I think, what was I gonna say? I think that like we as the audience, like they want us to identify most with the granddaughter who like is scared and watching her grandma be a badass. But like because we all love the original Halloween, it's like no, like I'm with Jamie Lee.
Yeah, 100%.
Like she's my audience stand-in because I'm used to her being my audience stand-in.
And the issue is when she's the audience stand-in, and then all the action music is implying that she's not ever really in peril. Right. It becomes an issue because then there's no tension whatsoever. And also, I just want to say too, like, there's literally a scene in this movie where Jamie Lee Curtis looks at the doctor and goes, "You're the new Loomis."
Yeah.
Like, did we need you to say that?
I don't like
thank
that.
you.
Like,
thanks,
okay.
Jamie.
Like, thanks for stating the obvious.
What test audience told you to throw that fucking one in there? That was terrible. And like, that scene really pisses me off.
Right.
Because it happens right after a great scene where she sees his reflection in a window and shoots it, and it's a mirror, and that's like a total playback to Halloween 4. And I love that shot. And then like the moment after, she's like, "You're the new Loomis."
And then she says that. I'm like, how dare you stand where he stood?
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's so much better.
Like, why do you need to say that?
It was so fucked up. It just felt like almost like disrespectful to the Loomis character a little bit.
His pronouns are he because he'll never be him.
Yes. What was I gonna say? Oh, but I liked it. You all distracted me with that. But I want to talk about Julian for a second. I just have to give a shout out to Julian.
Dude, that character's the best. I love Julian.
The best character in the movie. I love him so much. I love everything that he does. He's so fucking funny.
So the kid who's getting babysat, it's kind of like a throwback to Tom. He's kind of like the new age Tommy Doyle, you know, because that a real kid getting babysat now would be like, I'm going to play Fortnite and cut my toenails. And like, that's who this kid is unapologetically. And I love him.
He's honestly like, he made me laugh so fucking hard.
When she was talking about, we're going to have some Alakazam, he's like, I know that's weed, you stupid ass. Like, I love that. That's so good.
Like, I was about to mention that, actually. Like, that's such a good moment.
He's like, I used to have great babysitters. Now you're like the 10th babysitter. Like, you're the bottom of the food chain.
Yeah, it's funny. It's cute.
And then, never mind. Hold on.
Their cute little moments are fun. Like, they make fun little moments in this one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and the scene where we get him started in the neighborhood and he's walking through with all the trick-or-treaters and he's in that suburban area and he's going through the backyards. That is the best. And there's a reason why. When I used to work at a video store, the trailer for it, like for when the DVD was coming out, was just that scene of him like walking through before he stabs anybody, before there's any gore. And it's because that's the scariest fucking scene in the movie.
Right, that like the idea that like
it's
a killer could be like
and
walking among you.
They play the old keys that and like it's so fucking, it pierces your ears.
Yeah.
It's like so much and it's so fucking good. It's the best scene. The only issue I have with that scene is there's like a CGI blood in it. And I don't know, maybe I just don't understand movie making well enough to get like why that shouldn't be there, or like, you know, like I shouldn't be complaining like there's no better way to do it. But for me, it was just really fucking obvious. Especially since the rest of the scenes before that were so good.
It just feels like it wouldn't have been that hard to do as a practical
It just feels
effect.
like if you're going to make such a great scene and make it feel like it's like a one shot and like you'll go through so many backyards and doors and windows and shit and like get us walking through this entire neighborhood. If you're going to end it on a scene, don't end it on the CGI blood stab.
Yeah.
But it's still a really fucking good scene. I mean, it's still top 10 scenes in Halloween ever. Like it's like literally prolific because it completely understands what made the first character so good. Like the first movie so good with that character.
Yeah.
And it was kind of forgotten about in the other movies. There wasn't as much like stalking. And in the later movies, it was like he would just show up out of nowhere and just stab the fuck out of you.
Yeah, and like the thing that's scary isn't him actually killing. It's the tension because you like don't know what he's gonna do.
And you don't know like who he's watching, where he is.
He's so indiscriminate and like he's indiscriminate, and yet there's a methodology because he doesn't kill everyone he encounters.
Yeah.
It's so weird, but you don't know what it is.
It's fucking crazy.
He's just doing it at whim.
What else do we have to say about it?
He's truly chaotic.
He is.
Like, he's chaotic evil.
Yeah, that.
What do you guys think about Laurie constructing her entire house to be a trap for Michael?
I love it.
Like
insane
mental illness, but I love it.
Yeah, like is this bitch talking to somebody regularly? Because if not,
that bitch does
her
not have a
contractor.
therapist.
I need you to build a secret sub basement
love
filled
that
with dynamite.
I love that her daughter, like Laurie's daughter in this version, is a therapist too.
Like, of
Like,
course
that tracks,
she is.
you know? Like, they always say that the people who become therapists need the therapist the most. And
this bitch definitely needed one.
And she definitely needed one as a child.
Yeah.
And so she probably became a therapist because she needed one as a child and was like, I'm going to do that for other people.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I think that's fucking badass.
It's just another way that they really made the characters feel good and real.
And real, yeah. Like you
made
would.
you give a fuck, honestly.
Like you would be traumatized by your mom's trauma, and you would want to, like, after being helped as a child, probably by a lot of therapists, want to be a therapist and help other people as well.
Oh, I have to say one thing that I hate that it's really stupid, but I hate how she calls her grandmother. Like, who calls their grandmother?
It makes me think of
Like,
her being like,
hello, grandmother.
grandmama, like very
it's a
like
little intense,
like
Like,
old
come on,
timey.
children, gather your things. We're going to grandmother's house.
I feel like she has an estranged relationship with her grandmother, though, right? Like, isn't it? She lost custody of her mom when she was like 12, so it's not like, you know, they have a like friendly relationship.
Well,
So it's probably distant. Like, they're probably like, she probably refers to her as your grandmother all the time. So then the kid's like, oh, grandmother.
Yeah, but I feel like
because kids pick up what they call their grandmas when they're kids. So this mom's telling her the whole time, like, that's your grandmother. She's the fucking worst.
Well, yeah, but I feel like they do have a relationship, her
but
and
they do, but
granddaughter.
it's clearly like a distant thing that she reached out for later. It wasn't like she got it when she was younger. This is something she's invested in doing because she's old enough to make her own phone calls now. It's like she said, I called her myself.
Yeah. It was still annoying. It just got on my nerves.
I think it could literally be explained like she was called grandmother because they have a cold relationship or they had a long time ago.
Fair enough.
You wouldn't, like, after you got cool with your grandmother you've been distant from, you wouldn't be like, Grandma, I love you, Grandma. Like, I don't think you'd be like that. I'm just saying.
Wait, quick. What does everybody call their grandma?
Grandma.
You call grandma? You
Bitch.
always did grandma. Oh, wow.
No, I'm just kidding.
What did you say?
She said bitch.
Bitch.
No,
That was funny.
I used to call my one grandma
Sound off in the comments
Nana.
what you call your
Yeah,
And
I
the
don't
other
think this is
one, Grammy.
necessarily the most exciting content, what you call your grandma, but
I just wanted
But
to know.
all
I just think
right.
it's interesting.
I think that means we're ready to rate this movie.
Fair enough.
If Madison's asking what we call our grandparents,
I just wanted to know. I say mammal.
I'm
Wait. Girls should not look that slutty at Halloween dances in high school.
Yeah. We should talk about that for a second.
I was just like whispering in her mouth or something.
Oh my God, right.
Right? Like, don't
Like,
be so
why
mad.
was she allowed to
your
wear
phone's
that?
going in the punch. But
Yeah, that was such a shitty moment for him.
that made
And
me
then
hate
he
him so
survived
much.
the movie.
I
Yeah.
fucking know.
And
That's
it's
what I
crazy
mean.
that he
This
did.
movie's so dumb in that way. I'm like, you didn't give me enough kills, bro. You could have killed that guy. No one would have cared. Just kill that guy.
right.
What's happening?
What were you looking at?
I thought there was a piece of Play-Doh on the floor, but I was like, I don't drop that, did I? Is it Play-Doh?
It's the eraser to this
It's the
mechanical pencil
Okay,
I'm
I was
holding.
like,
Damn it.
did
You-
I drop Play-Doh? Are the dogs gonna die? You know.
What?
You got to pick that up. The dog's going to eat it.
Oh, no, I will.
Okay, good.
I'm aware that it's there. I just didn't want to bonk my microphone.
Okay. Anyways, I'm going to rate this movie.
Yeah, let's do that now.
I rate this movie. I love Halloween. I'm so glad Logan got me into it. I give this movie a 10 out of 10, honestly.
Yeah, like for me, it's a Halloween property, so it's automatically a 10 out of 10. But if we're gonna like rank it in like what I think are the best movies, it's better than a lot. Like it definitely soars way over 4 or 5. Curse. I think H2O and It are like kind of balanced. I think I like H2O a little more because I think it's just a little bit scarier. But this is like a better movie than H2O, so it's close. But it's not like my favorite or anything, but it's still really good.
So what do you give it?
I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10 because it's a
Oh,
Halloween
I
movie.
thought you were... Okay.
I'm gonna start doing my Halloween rules the same as the Kevin Smith rules. Like I can't rate it anything lower than like the perfect score. Because how can I act like I'm not obsessed with the franchise?
Yeah, that feels
Yeah,
fair.
that's fair.
You're wearing your little shirt.
I'm literally wearing a shirt. I have all of them on Blu-ray, DVD, whatever box set comes out. We usually get. It's like I'm so deep into it.
I'm gonna give it a 8 out of 10 because it wasn't like when I watch a slasher, I kind of want it to be, or horror movie in general, I want it to be a little scary, and like the lack of scariness definitely kind of took it down a little for me.
That's
Like
fair.
when I go and watch like a horror movie, I want something that's giving me like to be scared at. Like I want something to like
Bridget
make
wants
me
to
scream.
piss her pants.
Like
It wants to fucking cry.
and like I don't necessarily want like to see fucked up shit, but I definitely want to like see things that are scary or like that I'm allowed to let myself be scared at. You know, does that make any sense?
Makes sense.
It's like the same reason I go to a haunted house. So yeah, I'm gonna say 8 out of 10. It was great. It was great. There are great shots, but the like lack of scariness definitely took it down some.
I give it an 8 out of 10 as well, especially when you think about it in comparison to some of the other Halloween movies, like you were saying. Like, this is definitely up there for one of my
Like
favorites.
it's definitely the art house Halloween.
Yeah,
like,
which
we
I
can
like.
we can act like it's like so bad, and like there are a lot of bad things in it, but it definitely tried a lot harder than a lot of these movies did.
Yeah,
But
no, I
it
really
missed out
do
on a
like
really
this
core
movie.
component, which is being scary.
Yeah, I really do like this movie, but I would give it an 8 out of 10.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick pause and come back with Halloween Kills.
We did it.
Hey, looking for more content? Check out Crosscut Cinema, where me, Franny, and my friends review movies. Or check out a pilot podcast where we review TV pilots with recording artist CL Blue. Or hey, check out me hanging out with my friends on Average Joe Interviews. Socials and links are in the bio. Thanks, guys.
We're back.
Woo!
Sup?
Hey.
Yeah.
The long-awaited Halloween Kills.
It has been long awaited.
It
I mean,
really
it's been
has
years.
been.
Took an extra
Yeah.
year to come out.
Crazy. I cannot believe we were supposed to get this movie last year. That's insane.
That would have been so great.
Yeah, instead it was just a shitty year all around. No highlights.
Nope.
Besides the time we broke into my car. That was
was
pretty fun.
Tiger King
I mean,
was
that
cool
was-
Yeah,
when it came
Tiger
out.
King.
Yeah, our collective Tiger King moment, that was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I proposed to Madison last year, so I feel like that was a plus for me at least.
Even if Madison already knew.
Look at it like I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
Halloween Kills.
Halloween.
Okay, so
motherfucking kills.
If your complaint was that the last one wasn't like scary enough and it cared too much about character development, I think this is a push in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
No,
actually,
I will say there is some character stuff in this movie. I don't want to say it's not got character development because it does.
I actually don't feel that great about it. As that, the longer I've been from the movie, I don't like how like Jamie Lee Curtis was totally sidelined in this movie.
Yeah, it bothered me.
I don't like the mental illness subplot, although it does have a great shot in it. Like great, like literally, it's amazing. When the dude's jumping from the building to like
That
kill
scene
himself,
is so cool.
That scene's so good. They put it in the trailer, and I get why. Like it's fucking crazily. It's
And
so
it
well
literally
done.
like, okay, so we saw this in the theater last night, which would be its opening night. Last night at the time of the recording, obviously not the time you're listening. That's not correct. But we saw it on its opening night, right? Yesterday was its opening day.
A scene in a crowded theater, I think, helped.
And it was so much fun to watch in the theater, but that scene literally made everybody gasp. Like it
Yeah.
happened, and everyone was like,
yeah.
you know,
There's
I
a
could
lot of
look.
moments with that, like where everybody like gasps
like the whole
when you listen.
there were. I love seeing a horror movie in the theaters. I love seeing
That's
this
the
movie in the
best.
theater.
I know we
because everybody
almost streamed this instead, and I'm so glad we
Because
like
the
last week all
drive-in
decided to
got
go.
rained out,
Yeah.
and then it was like coming to be like they were coming over, and it's like I guess we're gonna watch it here. And then last second, we're both like, it'd be so much better if we saw it in the theater.
Yeah, like there's
And I'm
there's
so
a
glad we
magic.
did.
Yeah, there's a magic to it, and like I'm really glad we went and saw it. I feel like this is an experience as well as a movie.
And
It was
Bridget walked back
definitely-
into the wrong movie.
Oh god!
Oh my God, I was
Bridget
gonna talk
had
about
a
that.
whole experience.
I did.
You really did.
Bridget,
I
tell us
had
about
an adventure.
it. This,
Yeah,
is,
tell
this
us
is your
about it.
moment.
I was like, she was like, I did, and I was like,
So
sorry,
I
not
did,
gonna talk
and
about
then
it.
just, like-
I was going to. I'm sorry. I just was like
She's
preparing.
gearing up.
So I went to the bathroom, and then I came back, and I went to the bathroom on the wrong side of the theater. But then like I came out and I saw Halloween Kills, and I forgot what time we went to the movies. I was like, oh yeah, 9:45, whatever. I go in and I'm like, oh shit, it's already started, and so it's all dark. There's like
my
it's
God.
packed. I like bend down.
Our movie was
see-
at 10.
I know. I got messed up. I got confused, and like I leaned
You got
down.
me all fucked up, Fantasia.
I leaned down to look at the ticket in the little light
Yeah.
they have, and I was like, oh, row B 20 or whatever. And I go down to row B, and I'm like, I don't really know which side is which, so I'm just gonna like shimmy through, I guess. And I shimmy through an entire row of people before I get to the end and realize that Franny, Logan, and Madison are not in that theater. And I stand there,
And
the
for
people
context,
are like,
this was during the scene where it's like the older white dude and then the black lady with the drone, and they're
Right.
like having they're getting murdered. And Bridget's
Yeah.
like, excuse me, pardon me.
and I felt really bad. And then I was just like,
you
I
did it
just
all for
left.
nothing.
All for nothing. And then I just turned around and I left. And then I realized, I was like, this is theater 1. And I looked at my ticket and it was like theater 14. I was like, what the fuck? And I looked down the row and there's like 6 theaters playing fucking Halloween Kills,
Yeah, I mean,
obviously.
it just came
It's
out.
and I
opening
just
night.
like,
It's a huge movie for this time of the
And I
season.
just-
too.
Madison's Bridget senses were tingling though. She was like, "What's
Guys,
taking Bridget
Bridget's been
so
gone
long?"
for a while.
And you know what? But she was in the wrong theater. And before that, you had a whole like bathroom experience because you had no toilet paper and shit. Like
I know. I was like, I went to the bathroom and I was like, oh no, because there was
But the trailers
no-
were so long, you still made it back
Yeah,
in time.
Yeah.
you did
Those
it
were
fine.
the longest
we were
fucking
still
good
watching
trailers.
trailers.
Those trailers fucked me up.
There's
I'm
some
not
good
gonna
shit.
lie.
There's some good shit to come though.
Yeah.
one of
Ethan
the-
Hawke's doing a big horror movie
I'm
right
excited.
Like I definitely know I cannot watch it.
Too
but
spooky.
too scary. I'm a little baby. But I definitely want you guys to review it, and that way I can like
know what
listen.
happens.
I want to know what happens. It looks so fucking good.
And it's Ethan fucking Hawke. Like, what is he
Love
doing?
him.
What is he doing in this movie? Why is it such a big character? He
I'm
usually
excited.
plays like, I'm the guy from Training Day. That's usually the character he plays.
Right.
Like,
So it's
And then
insane to see him doing something so big.
Dune-
But that's
and
not
it
what
looks
this
really
is about.
so
Too?
good.
Dune
Dune
looks
looks
really
great.
good.
Yeah, I mean, Dune looks really good
we see the
as
trailer
well.
for Dune?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on
Yeah.
there.
And,
I mean, they usually play it in the movie
last night
theaters
in
recently.
Soho.
So
That
Yes.
one's been
that
playing
looks
a lot.
amazing. I want to see that one.
Edgar Wright's the fucking man, and he's gonna make a great movie. And I'm super
The new
excited
Scream
for it.
looks good.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
like what it needs to be. It
Yeah.
doesn't look like a
Right.
great movie, but it looks just like a fun fucking.
Let
horror
us,
And
movie.
that's
let
what
us know in the
Scream's all about.
comments what upcoming movies you want to see us review.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're excited to get
According to
actually
the
review.
algorithm, it's horror movies or Scooby Doo, and that's it.
And I mean, like, I love that for us. I
Yeah,
love our
that's fine.
brand. I'm super into Scooby Doo. I'm super into horror movies.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so I come
Somebody
into
should
the,
go ahead and make a Scooby Doo horror movie, like a dark, gritty ass
Yeah.
Scooby Doo. That would be crazy.
Emotion behind us to the tapestry of all the
Shaggy
The
turned Scooby into a
Halloween-
meat pie. Like, how are they going to turn that dark
oh
and
god,
demented?
No, like the gang is like fighting somebody who's like truly dark, like a serial killer.
Like the Mystery Inc. versus Michael Myers. Like, is that what you're talking about?
no, like it's like
Jason
okay.
versus.
This is a little
Mr.
off
Inc.
topic, and
feel
I
like that would be
apologize.
it.
But like the Scooby Gang, like tries to solve like a serial killer.
Oh my
Like
god!
they go after the Zodiac
Yeah, or like some
or
shit
Black
equivalent.
Dahlia.
Some shit equivalent.
Ryan Murphy could make it, and it'd just be
No,
all
I
sexual
don't want.
violence.
I don't want Ryan to touch it. I want somebody else to do it.
Ryan
Well,
Murphy
it's
makes
only
me
gonna
gag.
get made if Ryan Murphy asks for it to get made.
There's
Nobody else would let
Unfortunately.
somebody do that to Scooby Doo but him.
a challenger needs to approach Ryan Murphy and take him down, move him from his throne, and then make us the Scooby Doo
Absolutely.
gritty horror drama of our dreams.
Yeah, there's. I really just want Greg Garcia to become that prolific because
Hell
I feel
yeah.
like he could
Same.
totally do it.
Yeah, he could do it for sure.
Whatever
100%.
happened to that CW Scooby Doo movie?
Show. It was a show, and it's just like forever in development hell
Yeah.
Damn.
because
like, he's
they're
being,
trying to make a
supposed to
show
come out.
about Scooby Doo without a fucking dog in it.
That's insane to me.
Hello?
I
That
hate
would
it.
work well.
That's insane.
That's like, I mean, even
He's
if he
the
was just
titular
like,
Scooby Doo.
Yeah, they were calling it Mystery Incorporated or some shit.
That's
No.
just like weird. We all know what
Yeah.
it's missing.
and
Like
it's a fucking
key.
dog.
I
Like,
mean,
he doesn't even have to talk, dude. He doesn't
They
have
don't
to
even
talk.
try with the titles anymore though. Scoob.
Scoob.
But that movie was terrible.
Wasn't about Scoob.
It
It was about Madison's dog.
You can listen to our review. We reviewed Scoop.
Anyway, we're getting way
recently
too off
rewatched
point. We need to
it.
back to
Yeah,
Halloween
let's
Kills.
talk about
Yeah,
the movie.
sorry. I
Back to
just
Halloween
got
Kills.
really excited about trailers.
I love the small townness that this movie
Yes.
creates. It embodies
Absolutely.
exactly what the first movie was trying to do.
And like everybody knows each other,
Yeah.
and like they all have
Yeah.
these
It's
histories.
an all interconnected universe where like this kid Lonnie, who was a school bully to Tommy, they bonded over the fact that they both encountered Michael that
Yeah.
night and became friends. Lonnie literally used to bully Tommy in the movies.
No, I think
Yeah.
it was the other way around because they
No,
were talking
no.
about Lonnie scared and scrawny.
No, that was after. But Tommy gets pushed over by Lonnie.
Oh shit, you're
Right.
right. You're
And
right.
he's holding the pumpkin and all that shit, and
Oh,
Michael's
you're
outside
right.
the elementary school.
I mean, that makes sense to me.
Jesus
because,
Christ, White, you're in my asshole.
But like
yeah.
that makes sense to me that like one kid who was bullied would bully another kid. You have to like sometimes like kids do that. Like it's a
Yeah,
way to
and-
like
and this,
feel powerful.
This traumatic event also brought them together, and they had like
Right.
this community of survivors, right?
Absolutely.
that like continue to like see each other year after year.
Yeah,
And
on
that's what
Halloween they
felt
get drunk
so
at the bar
realistic.
and go.
Which is
I
amazing.
loved the bar scene. I loved the bar scene.
And Anthony Michael Hall, although
He did a great job.
I
Uh-huh.
really thought he was gonna bring weird energy to it because for me he's so hit or miss, but he was so good.
Is that the director of this one?
No, Anthony Michael Hall, it was Tommy
played
Doyle.
Tommy.
Oh, he like
He's in like Breakfast Club and shit.
yeah. Anthony Michael Hall to me is like perpetually a teenager. So to see him as an old man like is very weird to me. But he did a really good job. He played his character very believably and like you understood.
He comes off like this suburban white guy who's been through some real shit. And he's like, you know, he's jaded. He's like, I need to be manly and take on things because I was a scared child. And that's a part of his downfall too as a character.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Where
Yeah.
like he's going places solely based on the fact that he's like, I'm not afraid evil will die tonight. And they're all like vengeful about it. And it's also a commentary on like just like mob mentality.
Absolutely.
And it's a little bit of a weird one because this thing with the mental health patient that is caused by like Anthony Michael Hall's like, you know, Tommy Doyle's big like mob. is really fucked up and also
It's so hard to watch.
barely does anything for the movie except for a cool shot. And also, if you're going to handle mental health that way, it's really gratuitous to show all that gore after the guys fall.
Absolutely. Like, and it's really hard to watch somebody, like, especially if you have mental health problems, but like, it's hard to watch him fall. It's hard to watch him react to these people coming at him. Like, the fear.
It's like really sad. Like, the movie gets really sad.
The problem is
I
that
almost cried.
It's like a major tonal
This
shift.
is another character that's a problem for me. Because at the end, they don't change their mind. Remember, they all gang up on Michael like they're in fucking, like, you know, like they're in like a gang movie.
Like,
they show up like Bone Thugs and Harmony and fuck his ass up. And like they do that at the end of the movie, regardless of the fact that their mob mentality killed an innocent person.
I also want to say the fact that like the whole like he's turning us into monsters. Like, I felt like that was just a little bit too on the nose. I feel like we could have seen that as watchers.
Especially because, like you said, he didn't learn. They didn't
They
learn.
learned nothing.
anything.
If they didn't say that we were turning into monsters, they would have never even acknowledged that what they did was wrong. They'd have been like, "Oh, that's not him. Let's get the next one."
Oopsies.
Right. And like that's
But Michael in this movie is scary as fuck.
oh
Though,
my
by the way.
god, he's so
I
terrifying.
love the like melted mask. I think it's such a cool, like,
The
scary
flames-
look.
Oh,
so
by the
good.
way, for all the people who are upset that Michael murdered a bunch of firefighters, don't forget that he murdered a gay kid in the first movie.
And nobody was upset
And no one
about
gave
that.
a fuck. Like a young boy he brutally murdered. But it was like, you can't kill firemen. And it's like, but he can
Also,
though,
like,
because he's. But
why do I need Michael Myers to be the picture of morality?
But-
Like, why do
Right.
I need him to like only kill the bad guys?
the
He's
better
Michael
part of the story
Myers.
has nothing to do with that. It's when a bunch of policemen came out and was like, Michael kills us in movies all the time. It's about being fictional. And everybody's like, yeah, but you were supposed to die. We
Right,
hate
yeah,
you.
but like ACAB,
And that's
though.
the best
Yeah.
ever.
Right, yeah.
Is that the whole thing really turned into an ACAB story, and I love that.
Well, and then the movie like has a bit of an ACAB hint to it, but then it kind of like takes it back. For a minute, you're like, yeah, people are gonna like band together and like.
Well, also,
I was
it's
all about it for
the
a second. I was like,
sheriff
this
or
militia is
that
making it happen.
officer, not Brackett, but the other officer, the one who was there that night, who didn't kill Michael. Like, he does bear responsibility.
Yeah.
He literally like shook a gun out of somebody's hand to
Right.
not kill him. Fucking kill him. He murdered children.
Right.
What's the question?
Yeah.
You would kill a child. You'd kill like a child rapist if they were in front of you. This person also killed people. Like, is that not enough to warrant murdering that person?
Well, I guess it was because I took it because like he felt like he had just murdered somebody. I mean,
That's true. But at the same time, is like, okay, that person also died because of this man. Like,
Right.
You can think about that retroactively. You're not completely frozen in time with a decision like that because you have someone in front of you who embodies so much of what's wrong with the situation that you're like, I'm going to take it out on him. How do you not kill the person who murdered all these people?
right.
It
Yeah.
just blows my mind. Like, I understand that, like, that's not the way police officers are supposed to act, but for once, like, be ACAB. Like, just do it. Just do it this one time. He killed a police officer's daughter, too. Like,
Yeah.
he killed so many people. He's responsible for your partner being dead. Kill him. So it is his fault. So ACAB on that.
Yeah, I did not like that, like the mental illness subplot, especially because of the thing where it was like, it seemed like it was going to be a cool thing of like people banding together and like a community like coming together
and they
to
give you
defeat
that,
Michael
and it's like
Myers.
soiled because for one,
But then they're like, no, this is actually a bad thing, and
like
we should listen to the cops. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
no,
like
not
trying
that
to-
either.
They're like trying to like teach you a lesson. With
yeah,
it.
like the
I
Judy
felt-
character's like, trust the
that's why
cops.
I hated that moment.
Yeah.
So like the mom character's like, trust the cops. You need to trust the cops. And then the one time she trusts like the neighborhood people, she thinks she made the right decision, and then she gets murdered
Right.
at the end of the movie, and it's the most devastating murder of the whole film. And they hold it to you till the end too, because they want you to be like scared during this whole movie, and then give you that devastating thing. So I understand why they did that part of it, but it was like a weird plot line for her to be like so pro police, and then the moment she's not working with the police, she fucking dies. It's like, why are you being so pro cop in this movie right now?
Right. It was just a weird thing because like it seemed almost anti that for a
Like
second.
Sonic the Hedgehog who?
Oh my god.
Correct.
I want to circle back to that and say I feel like I was on the right side of history, boys.
You were still definitely wrong, 100%.
It felt a little bit like cop propaganda.
We don't need to get into
No,
the
I'm just
Sonic
kidding.
of it all again.
I was just
God.
kidding. I was just doing that to stir the pot.
No.
Stirring that pot.
I'm stirring the pot. I'll never let you guys know what I really feel.
Okay.
That's some psychotic shit, but okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, it just like it I don't like how it like says one thing and then kind of says another thing, and I agree about that plot line. Even if it did like lead, I will say this, it was some of the scariest shit in the movie.
And also
like,
the
that
movie
scene where like the scene that was really effective for me was when they were all in the hospital and there are just so many fucking people. They rounded up every single person in that town to come be an extra in this movie to
100%.
pack this hospital, and it was stressful as fuck. And it looks like a super spreader event.
Yeah, and like
So like an added new stress that was never even intended to be.
and then like they're going around in this car through the neighborhood. By the way, the granddaughter ran off with her awful boyfriend who literally cheated on her the same night.
I wanted to ask you, do you feel like this movie redeemed the boyfriend for you at all?
No.
Fair enough.
I know, and it was like
And here's
trying
why.
to, which is kind of weird.
And here's why. Because the issue I have with him isn't even just inherently that he did all that nasty shit. It's also the fact that like he's one of the people who's putting people actively in danger by like running out and trying to confront him. And the movie's telling you not to want that.
Right.
Like, and so as a result, I don't like the character because he put this other character I care about in peril instantly.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like,
He's
you
like,
should
come
come
with me to chase the serial killer.
Right. And like,
No.
your literal
Like, no.
minors.
Yeah.
Your literal children?
And he's
No.
cool. He's cool with bringing her after her mom was like, dear God, fucking don't let her go. Like, shouldn't you as a person be like, okay, I might actually fucking like ruin her life if I let her come with me and she gets murdered.
I'm just
Guess
glad,
I'll do it anyway.
I'm just glad that motherfucker had to deal with all this wearing a
But
skirt.
for the record, his death was still fucked
Yeah.
up. Like,
Yeah,
it was
for
still really
sure.
hard to watch. And I think the reason why they made him so unlikable is for that. I feel like we would have really...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the tension was insane.
Yeah,
Like,
in that scene for sure.
it was fucking crazy. And that's where the movie was really effective.
And I mean, all of the kill scenes were really tense and really
Bro,
well
the
done.
scene in the park, dude. The scene in the
Yes.
park
Oh my
was...
God.
The thing about this movie is I think it has scenes that are better than a lot of the Halloween movies. But I think
Scary
as a
shit.
whole, it really is missing, like, the characters. Like, it misses that entirely. It's weird. It's like a total opposite of the other
Like,
movie.
I wish we could take all the good things from the first movie and then take all the good things from this movie and then just mush them together to make one
Yeah.
movie. Like, I wish like the first movie.
I wish I could recut it.
I wish like this movie had like the plot of the first one, you know, or like vice versa. Like the murders of the first one were just replaced with the murders from these.
Yeah. And then I thought I wasn't going to like the flashback scenes when they first started.
I liked it.
And then I started liking
liked
it more and
them.
more because they put our boy Loomis in the movie.
Hell
I
yeah.
really liked that.
They
I thought
CG
that
Donald Pleasant's ass in there, $3 million. They paid probably more to put that man in the movie digitally than they ever paid him to actually act in any of those movies. I promise.
Crazy. That's
I
crazy.
hope his estate gets the money.
They do. They have
Good.
to. Yeah, there's
Good.
already a whole law about that whole thing.
They deserve it.
Yeah, I always feel like the ethics of that are weird. Like I don't know how I feel, or not the ethics so much,
he,
but like
he loved that franchise. Like he loved
Right,
that
I
franchise.
remember.
It's something he'd want
like
to
not
do.
for him specifically, but just in general. I don't know how to feel about like CGIing dead people into movies.
Well, it's different. If it serves purpose to the plot, like for instance, in the Star Wars movies, I kind of like when they do that because there's already a set up universe, right? But when they,
Right,
but like
yeah.
the idea of them, they were talking about getting James Dean to like star in a movie again, even
Yeah,
though he's
no.
dead.
That
That's
feels
really
gross.
fucking scary and weird. Like, don't do that.
That feels
that
really
feels
gross.
just soulless.
yeah, there's nothing
if,
to it.
if there's a movie like that, we got to do it for the podcast.
Oh, 100%.
Right,
But they're never going to
it's
do
just,
it. When they put it out there that they were doing that, when Warner's put it out they were going to do that. I think it was Warner's. I could be wrong. Everybody was like,
Everybody
no,
was like, nope.
that's fucking scary. I'm not going to watch that.
That's Black Mirror shit right there.
That's
Yeah.
really Black Mirror shit. And like, also there's so many
But
different.
imagine them being able to put a young Kurt Russell in something.
like,
Admit it, Madison. You
oh no,
fucking
I would
watch
love it. I
Eat
would.
that
I
shit
would
up.
watch that. It's weird though because Kurt Russell's still alive.
But I'm talking like if they
They
could
did
put
that-
young, sexy, the thing like Kurt Russell in something.
They do it, but Kurt Russell just does the voice acting for his.
He would.
CGI
He
self. That
would.
be
That's
amazing.
what in Ant-Man they did that with Michael Douglas. There's a whole scene of young Michael Douglas like confronting a board meeting and all he did was voice it. He literally wasn't physically
See,
present.
like that, I'm cool
and
with.
it looks so real.
that is.
Iron Man as well.
really?
Age of Ultron. They also, and don't forget Endgame too, where they literally like are CGing
Yeah.
like Oh, yeah, no, you're right. It's Civil War. They're CGing young Robert Pattinson, and like he wasn't even physically present for the scene. It was all
Pattinson?
Sorry, Robert Downey Jr. I get my Roberts confused.
I was like, hold up.
Both of them were a mess at one point.
Right.
Anyway, but this is more about the larger point of
Irishman?
Loomis.
No, I'm just
This
kidding.
is more about Loomis in a bigger point. Even when he's not there, he's so like there's like a kinetic energy to him. He like brings the fucking universe together. Like he really feels like Dr. Frankenstein and Halloween's his monster.
Yeah,
like
for
Michael's
sure.
his monster. And when he was on screen, even though I knew it wasn't him, I'm not kidding you. Did I not freak the fuck out? I was literally holding on to you like this is the greatest scene of my entire life.
I was so excited. I was like, oh my God.
Same.
He's here.
And like I kept sitting there being like, is that him? I think that's him. Did they get an actor that looked really like him to play him?
They got a voice
What the
actor
fuck?
to do his voice, and like
That's
it's
awesome.
really incredible. And they
It
also
is.
used some voice stuff from Halloween 2 they didn't use.
That's amazing. I love that.
And it's just like, I don't know. It almost redeems a little bit the first movie where they had that like fake him. Like it's
Yeah.
like thank God for putting him.
It really was fucked up that he was in that like that fake therapist was there because he really kind of. And the thing is, that's the mental patient for this movie. It feels like David Gordon Green needs to get an editor who's going to take the shitty character out of his movie because it always ends up in there. And the part I'm worried about is that he's going to be out of characters by the third movie, and it's going to be Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh God.
like that upsets
But
me.
Like he's trying to make such a commentary on mental health in both movies.
And it's like
that he
shit
is-
ass takes
He's
too.
missing the goddamn point.
It's a lot of takes. Like he
It's
cannot
not
make
it's
up.
ice cold takes.
His
First
shit
one's
isn't
on
consistent
therapizing, and the
either.
second one's on mental health in general. It's like, dude, like what the fuck are we talking about here?
And
And
like,
like I hated that. Oh, you go.
no, you can go.
I hated that they were just like, yes, we're gonna gang up. Like if somebody told you that it wasn't Michael, like that patient wasn't Michael, I feel like you, despite the fact that everyone else is going, but if somebody stopped me and was like, that's not him, I would turn back.
It felt very like sign of the timesy. You know, like
Right.
very 2020,
And,
2021.
yeah, and it felt very like this is a lesson we all need to learn.
Yeah.
And they really
gross.
they flipped a lot of people. I knew Michael wasn't gonna die. Like I was so certain.
Right, me
But
too.
they made it like so like you just had to believe he was dead, and then they're like, JK.
Like I knew he
It's
was
a little
never
silly.
dead.
And then Anthony Michael Hall's death like is so silly to me. Like the way he's like trying to attack Michael and Michael's just fucking him up. It's like why is this character here? Like what is the point? Because he didn't learn anything and he died because of this lesson he didn't learn twice.
Right.
It's like, are you really trying to say like to take matters into your own hands is out of the question?
And it's weird to me too that like Jamie Lee, who wasn't even there, was like learning the lesson, or at least telling me what the lesson was.
Yeah, she
Right.
literally did not see him the whole fucking movie.
Yeah, like she
Right,
was like hardly
absolutely.
in this movie, and it kind of sucked.
It's like, what the fuck, man? Like and that's what I'm saying. Like she was the best part of the first one, and you're gonna take that part out. And also, like, I get it. The first one wasn't scary enough, and like you want to up the scariness, and like having the kids in the park and the mask scenes and everything. That was really fucking cool.
It was.
But you can do that and still have a story.
Like,
Yeah.
I just think the movie would have been better if it was like the way that we defeat fear is by coming together as a community and
Yeah.
like finding it. Not that
But it's interesting you're saying that because I felt like you felt so good on this movie, and like I get why.
I think I was like riding the high of like watching it in the theaters, and
And
there's
the
a lot that
adrenaline.
I like about it.
the music
Do
was
not get
way
me wrong.
better.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
I loved the theme mixed with the choir. I thought that was really fucking
Yeah.
eerie. They basically do show you at the end that like Michael literally has no reason to be doing what he's doing.
Yeah, I was about to ask about that.
and I find that
I'm confused.
I find that a little frustrating because I get not making it a sister, but to just completely discount, it's like discounting Jamie Lee Curtis's trauma by being like, it all happened to you for no reason. And I get that that's what they're trying to say with the character, but it just came off so half-baked to me. Where in the first movie, he was so fucking desperate to kill her. He literally lost fingers over it.
right.
Tell me that he's just a passive member in this. And it's like to make that flip and be like, well, it was actually a direct line to his house. You're telling me these odds right now that he just happened to pass by her cabin, and if he never would have ended up in that area, he would have never crossed paths with her.
That like fucks me
Yeah,
up.
like
What
no,
the
I don't
fuck are
think
we
so.
talking about?
no, like he.
I
it was
hate that.
targeted. The second he like sunk his target into her, it became about her. Like I do not buy it.
Like clearly, like literally.
I don't
clearly,
like that they like
And
tried
there
to
was
put
some,
that
and even
narrative
like in the original,
there.
there was something about her in the first movie that like he felt like he needed to target her.
Yeah.
Because like he just saw her come up to the steps, and like that's not necessarily a reason to kill her, but like he for some
It's
reason
like a
honed
toxic bond that they like share.
But they try
Yeah.
to. But this movie tries to say it's not there.
I know, which is
it's definitely
fucking
there.
weird. Because
And
in the like,
I don't know. Here's the
in
thing.
2018, it feels like
I
it's
can't
there.
conclude that that's totally it until the whole series is done because it's like one
guess.
big piece, right? Like
Right.
it's a trilogy and all. But there's a part of me that's just like, it really felt like they front loaded the first movie with a lot of good character content and then back ended the second movie with a lot of horror and just could not find the balance. There's an issue with balance here. Like
Yeah.
there's very little substance character wise here. There's a lot of cool character things in it. There's a lot of cool like ideas of like, oh, I'm Lonnie's neighbor and we know each other this way and everything's all communitized. And you see the doctors from the first movie that escaped like
Which
meet
I
up
thought
at
was
the bar.
cool. Yeah.
It's
I
all,
love that.
It's all cool shit, but it's also like, if you didn't see the first movie, do you give a fuck about any of these characters?
No.
Right.
And then
You definitely have to see the first movie.
yeah, and the problem is like if that's what it is, let's try to make it more competent within itself. Like this, like these movies should also be able to be watched on their own to some degree. And I feel
agree.
like I could watch this one for the scares again, but I could never sit through the plot points again. Like I could,
I get
obviously I
that.
will. I'm obsessed with Halloween. I'm gonna watch it a million more times. But I feel like a normal person's going to be like, oh, skip forward to that one scene where he murders that guy in that way. Like
Yeah.
the clips for this
Yeah.
movie on YouTube are going to be big, baby.
They're gonna be huge.
It just like
It's
did
legit
not
scary.
It just
was
didn't
so
feel like
scary.
a point that like needed to be made that like he does it for no reason.
Well,
I
it's like and we
hated that.
kind of we know this like
Yeah.
as
Right.
well. Like
Like-
you know, I mean, obviously he can still be attached to Jamie Lee without like having a reason for doing. Like it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
a sister for
I
him
think
to have
the
a
issue
vendetta.
is that attaching meaning to this movie was the problem. Like the thing is they didn't give it any core strength to like have a big message to pass. So when they tried to, it was like this is
That's yeah.
And, like I
like
didn't
this is
like,
the movie where you turned that guy's head all the way around because you were pissed off about it or something. Like
and I didn't like that. Like
Big John and
literally-
Little John.
I loved them. I want to talk
I
about
also-
them, but I didn't like that. Like literally, Lori just tells us what it all means. I'm
right,
like,
and
okay.
I hated that. I hated
I just didn't
that.
need it.
Oh my
It felt
god, Big
like-
John and Little John.
Yeah.
It felt like you know how you end a story like a storybook story like or like a fairy tale with like the moral of the story is blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
that felt like what it was.
It was like, here's what we learned today, kids. And I'm like, okay, thank you.
or like Veggie Tales.
Yeah,
And they're like,
definitely.
God says this.
just like
And,
spoon,
that's how it
just like
felt.
spoon feeding you content when you
Right.
don't need it broken
And, like-
down like
and
that.
like here's the thing, the
I
horror in this
hated
movie
it.
was substantial. It was great.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
The gore was sometimes was a little aimless. I felt like kind of gratuitous.
I liked
But-
that.
But the thing is like that can work in a horror movie if the tone's right. And I feel like 90% of the time it was right. And then there was the guy falling out of the building.
agree.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't
that
right.
was
Or-
like
too
I'm
much.
okay with like the comedy elements plus like gratuitous gore. It feels fun. It's like
But it
campy.
it has
but
to
then
fit.
the other like serious moments are like, what are we trying to do here? And I think that
Right.
it has the same issue that the other movie has, just in a different way.
It's the
which is that
opposite.
it tries to be it overcomplicates it, and it doesn't need to be that complicated. Like the way that the first movie adds in that therapist character and overcomplicates it unnecessarily. That's the same with the patient in this movie.
Like-
it just doesn't
Yeah.
need to be there to be
we
successful.
could have cut out the patient scene.
And it's the same
added,
movie.
No, and added, because it's only an hour and a half. The
Yeah.
movie's like an hour and a half, right? If we cut out the patient scene and then put in more Jamie Lee Curtis,
That would
I
be
agree.
great.
it would be an actual movie. Like,
Oh,
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And it's not that this isn't an actual movie. I'm just saying, like, it would have accomplished what it was trying to, which was being a scary Halloween movie. The first movie was very Halloween and not scary. This movie is very scary and it's not Halloween.
I think this one feels
Yeah.
closer, like, to the mark than the previous.
I don't think with like what the
But,
soul
like-
of the story is though. I feel like this is such a weird take on Michael where he's like so absent-minded and so aimless that there's no
Yeah.
reason for his actions. Feels very much like he's hate fucking the old movies
Yeah.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, in
absolutely.
terms of scares, like, closer, but in terms of...
Definitely this is one of the scariest ones. This
Oh, definitely.
This ranges in
definitely.
like
Oh,
the
yeah.
Rob Zombie
There's
level
great tension
stuff.
in this movie, for
This,
sure.
this movie's
was-
super fucking scary.
and, like,
So
and it's
good at
scary
that.
in scenes that Michael's not even in. Like, that hospital scene, I have to commend it. It was scary. It
I
just
kept
doesn't
expecting him to
belong
be there.
And it would be kind of cool if he was, maybe. Like, there's this, like, mob, and he's just, like, kind of moving around, and, like, they're not even aware.
And that's kind of what happened, too, is, like, eventually they did find him, and then they, like, you know, Boys in the Hood him, you know. They
right, they fucking
They
curb
American
stomped
History
him.
X his ass. And
Well, we have the same thought. I said curb stomp, and you said American History X.
it's true, though.
Yeah,
They
I
literally
know.
came up like,
It's fucking brutal.
what a bitch. And the thing is, he still killed people when that happened.
Right.
Like, when they were fighting him at first, he killed 3 guys.
Yeah.
And those people
Yeah.
are dead now because you guys are irresponsible as fuck.
And, like,
Right.
so
And then he
many
got up and
people-
killed the rest of them.
So many people are dead now because he was, like, they were out there looking for him.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Like a literal van full of people, including the doctor and nurse, who I really liked.
And the mom
Same.
just wanted some control.
That scene
of
was
the
scary as fuck.
situation.
Yeah, absolutely,
was
100%. That was
terrifying.
tense.
I like the like character development. I feel like the only character we got a little bit of development for in this one is the mom. Like
I would agree.
Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter. I
don't know if I like the development that it was.
I kind of
Yeah.
do. I like the only good thing I feel that came out of that scene where that guy jumps on the building, besides the good cinematography, is like the show of that character's strength. Like she's trying to like
agree
keep
with-
the other people away from him and like protect him. Like I feel like it shows a good side of that character.
I
Yeah.
agree. And it like shows you how she is as a therapist. She's like, you know,
Yeah.
everything's okay. It's cool.
It shows you she's a good
I will
person,
keep
and it makes you
you
and it makes
safe.
you like believe in her strength.
Yeah,
to where,
it makes
like,
you
yeah,
believe
when
that
you
he's
got
going to
that-
be safe.
Yeah, and it makes you believe that like she might be the one to take him down.
And like that
Right.
scene was so like devastating, but
It
like it
was.
just did not belong in this
Fucked
movie.
me up. I couldn't watch. I literally turned and hid my face. I couldn't
it
watch.
was. It's
But
an intense
for the record,
scene.
though, that falling shot should probably
That
go
shot.
down in some sort of like
No,
horror
it's a
history.
beautiful
Yeah.
shot.
It reminds me of like if you've ever seen Exorcist 3. Exorcist 3 is not a very good movie, but there's this one great scene where like the killer is like right behind her and like they do a quick zoom and it's become very iconic. I feel like this falling scene is like a mixture of like that energy and Hardcore Henry. Where it felt very first person as he fell
Right.
and really fucking scary. Like way more people were fucked up by that scene than any other part of the movie. But the problem is like it's a totally different movie. It doesn't belong
Right.
there.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
It definitely was effective. No shit. I mean, like think about all the tension that built up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's going to be effective. Doesn't mean it belongs here.
I like
Yeah.
And on the reverse, like a really scary scene that did belong there that I loved is when she's hiding from him. What's her name? I can't think of her name right now, but
the granddaughter.
one of the original girls, when they pull up to the park and she's got this like
Fuck.
bag full of rocks
yeah.
and she's running and then she hides behind a tree and she's
The,
just,
the
like,
other
laying
the girl
there.
who was babysat in the
Yes.
first movie.
Yeah. I can't remember her name. It's
Lindsay.
I actually think
Thank you,
Yes.
Lindsay. Yes.
another good scene that will like make you fucking almost throw up is when the mother is running away, or the daughter, whatever you want to call it, Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter. I think is her name Judy in the movie, or is it something else?
No, it's
I know her
Judy
name's
Greer. Her name is Karen.
Karen.
So Karen has an amazing scene. Again, she's like the scene stealer in these movies, and that's why it really sucks that she's
I
dead.
love Judy Greer so much.
But the scene where she's running from him through the neighborhood before you know that she's like heading him to like a setup is so fucking scary. I mean, that shit is where everybody was like on the edge because they don't want this character to die.
Right.
And she's
Right.
trying to save her daughter who was an inch from losing her life. And she's luring him to this other neighborhood and they're running through these back alleys. And it's like, this is a suburban neighborhood and it feels real and everybody knows what it feels like to run through these.
Yeah.
And you're actually experiencing that kind of fear because you've walked through backyards just like that. Imagine running from the end of your life through them.
Oh God, gut wrenching.
Insane.
and I mean, and I, like in the scene, and then she like drops the mask, and that's like very iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then he looks like Creed for a second.
yeah. I wish we
Yeah.
didn't see so much of his face.
I wish it was like
quickly look at some of his
shadowy.
face.
I wish it was more shadowy and you couldn't see like his features.
I
at
know
all.
it's like
Yeah.
Nick Castle or whatever, and that's cool. But like,
Shroud him in a little more darkness.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like make him be the shadow that he
Yeah,
was supposed to
but
be.
the, but, the,
Shape
but the director's so obsessed with not being like the other movies. In the first Halloween, he gives away the entire face at the top. Like the face of Michael is revealed in the first Halloween right
Yeah.
away. So like they're like she's like trying to play with this
That's
idea
insane.
that all the other movies don't exist. So he's like that mask isn't that important, but it is.
and it's also
And it's
shown,
weird how he hate fucks it.
He
well, and it's
does.
also
He-
shown to be important to Michael.
It's like
Yeah.
everything to Michael. It's his entire identity.
So yeah, it's a weird choice. It's a weird choice to me for sure.
Also, something I noticed, if it's okay to change gears.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure everyone like said what they wanted to say. I noticed.
We're still talking about it for
I know,
sure,
but like I didn't want to like derail.
No, you're good. What's up?
So something I noticed is that these two movies mirror the first two. In a lot of ways.
In a big way.
And I love that. I love
especially
that.
how it takes place like directly after the events in a hospital.
It feels like he's trying to be like, I'm going to make the better version of that. Because he also doesn't do any of the cool shit that happened in that movie.
True.
I mean, there is no clog death scene.
I'd argue that he didn't make a better version of those two. I like
those two better. I agree with that.
But I think that that's what he wants. Because remember, Halloween 2018 is technically his Halloween 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he's making it directly after that. So Halloween 3 is like another weird extension of making another Halloween 2. And it just feels like he doesn't quite have it.
You know what I love?
Even though they're really good, I feel like there's something missing that he's not getting about the franchise. He's making two really good movies for totally different reasons, and they're totally different, and they're better in different ways. But they're not collecting what Halloween is.
I have a hope,
and I feel like H2O does it better than both of these movies.
I have a hope that like this third movie, he'll like really figure it out. And he'll get it all together.
I hope so too.
And it's so definitive. Calling it Halloween Ends is like saying, I don't want this franchise touched anymore.
Yeah, like,
and
no, after I'm done with it, I'm done with it. You know, that kind of thing.
Everybody's
like,
done with it.
No one else can have Halloween after me.
And I'm just like, dude, I just don't want that because I feel like you didn't nail it.
Yeah.
But if he nails it, I'll be okay with it. And I'm not gonna like.
I won't be okay with it ending forever. I want people to be able to like.
Well, but I'm okay
it,
with like this being
same.
a continuity that exists and ends.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that makes sense.
And I mean, I'm
a fresh take would be nice.
As everyone knows, I'm a big fan of like this being the new continuity. I like that. So like I'm okay with that happening, but I want him to really, for the third movie, just to like pull it all together, because the first one had issues and then the second one corrected those issues, but then had other issues. And I'm hoping that the third one can like fix what's wrong with both and take the good parts and make a really fucking good movie.
Depending on how,
I have hope for him.
I'm confident that depending on how this trilogy ends will determine how everyone thinks about all of them forever.
Absolutely.
Because they're such companion pieces to each other. And who knows, maybe when this third one comes out, it'll really make sense out of the other two. I can't discredit that idea because I've seen it done before. But at the same time, I'm also like, I watched this movie on its own. And I'm the biggest Halloween fan you'll ever meet. By far. The biggest I've
met, and I've known some pretty big Halloween fans.
Yeah, I'm the biggest Halloween fan there is.
Yeah.
So if I go into the movie and I say he could have done a lot better, like, I mean that, like, because I love the character so much, I have no problem with this movie existing because it's super fun and scary. I just think that, like, those movies mean a lot more to me, and they've been a lot better in the past. Like, Halloween 1978 is a masterpiece of indie horror.
Isn't that like the
Halloween
first?
H2O is the ultimate revival of a horror movie. It brought back slashers for the 90s in a way that Scream kind of did, but also bringing back a serious tone to them. Bringing back, like, a real, like, scare. And it also played with the idea of what they did with the second movie and improved upon it instead of ignoring it. So there's a part of me that likes the idea of them taking the whole like familial aspect and making a good movie out of it instead of making an okay movie out of hating it. Like if they would have made a good movie without it, I think I'd like that better. I think if 2018 was a better movie, it would be my favorite because they left alone this very like small
thing
idea
that I don't like. Yeah,
this very tunnel visioned idea of what the franchise can be. I appreciate it. I just wish it would have been something better.
You know,
and oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
But like, yeah, I have a little bit of faith that we can really just like pull it together for this third movie. I'm believing in him and his ability just to like make it work. And if he does, I'll be really happy.
I mean, he can make fucking movies. That's
You
for
just
sure.
need to tie it in a bow. Just bring it all together.
And I like there are things that I love so much about these two movies. And I'm like, if you could just like capture that magic, if you could just like get it quite right. Because I come from a place where I'm not as big of like a fan of the franchise as a whole as you are. Like I'm not like a geek about it. Like I don't like I don't know the ins and outs of it the way that you do. However, I love Halloween 1978, and it's one of my favorite movies, like regardless of genre.
Yeah,
I think
same.
it's a great fucking film.
It's
like,
top 10 films
I don't
ever.
have the feelings about the franchise, but I love that movie, and I want to see something that can capture what that movie captured.
I feel like nothing,
I want it to happen.
It's so hard to find that spark.
It is, and I'm like,
is, yeah.
but I have faith. I believe that it could.
I stand so much by H2O being a worthy ass sequel.
I need to revisit H2O. It's been a long time.
H2O is so good because it captures like the dumbness of the teenagers, like the first one. I mean, I won't get into a whole review, but there's reasons, especially when it has to come with characters and being scary, where it actually accomplishes both, just like the old movies.
Yeah.
And it does this by putting it in a completely different area. Like what they did was they took the idea, like the concept of Halloween, of a familial tie, you know, a wretched past. They put that all in the movie and didn't care about the atmosphere and made something new. And I was like, that's cool. With these movies, they're like, we're going to take that atmosphere, but we're going to get rid of a little bit of the bigger lore and try to make it more open.
And that's also cool.
That's cool.
But do well.
But I think H2O accomplishes what it was trying to accomplish much better than I think Halloween 2018 did. And especially Halloween Kills.
That was
But Halloween Kills is a lot better than Resurrection, so no worries.
That was the one with her son, right? That she has a son. Okay, I just want to make sure that I was picturing the right one. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's the one with the boarding school and stuff.
That's what I thought.
Zoe 10 done.
Zoe 10 done.
I don't know why.
Oh, we watched all that. We watched that together, didn't we?
Yeah,
we
I
did.
had you guys all watch it again.
I forgot about that.
It was last year. I'm pretty
Wow.
sure.
Huh. Anyway.
And then you were like, yeah, we're going to rewatch it before we review it.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
wonder what we would have thought about this movie, like how much our perception would have changed if we would have watched it at home versus.
Well, I think
in
we
the
would be a
cinema.
lot harder on it.
I feel like me and
too.
Madison would have ripped this movie to shreds.
Correct.
If we were allowed to talk during the movie, we would have ripped it to shreds.
I'm really
Absolutely.
glad it was like we were forced to pay attention and like fully be in it.
And
I
for
agree
all
with that, Franny.
Yeah.
For all the things that I dislike about this movie, like the experience of watching it is really fun. It's like one of the
was so
most
fun.
fun times I've had at the theater probably ever. The
Yeah.
crowd was so hype. It felt
yeah.
so good to see a crowded movie theater again, and like everybody was just in it, and like people were reacting, and like
It was-
I was,
And
It
the
was like
thing-
feeling like fall outside too. It was like good
and
timing.
like I'm a bitch that like when I'm in the movie theater, I shut my fucking mouth, like, and I don't want people to talk to me. But like even I was having like ooh reactions because everybody else was.
Yeah,
And I was
it's
just,
a
like,
big
having fun
audience
with it.
experience.
Yeah.
And I do want to say this about the Halloween movies. Okay, so there are different like groups and fandoms that like Halloween for different reason. Some people strictly love it for it being scary. Some people like love the storyline and the characters. Some people love the music, how it's so influential on the film. I feel like if you liked the version of Halloween where it's just like, you know, it's like Halloween 2, 1981, or it's like, you know, Halloween Resurrection or the Rob Zombie stuff where you just want to see really scary shit and it's really entertaining and it doesn't really hold that much weight. This is the movie that it could have been if that one scene was cut out. And it would be a great version of that movie.
Yeah, I would happily accept this.
That's
into,
why
like,
when we
my
were leaving
Halloween.
and you were like, I kind of like that scene, I was like, I think that is the most toxic, most shitty scene in the whole fucking film.
Like,
but it
I
does have the
liked
best
it-
shot.
I liked it for the scare and I liked it for the tension, but I don't like it as a part of this movie.
Yeah.
Maybe I like it as a part of a different movie that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And I like this movie that doesn't have it in it. You know, I think that's a better movie. And it's just, it's a shame.
It's like when they added aliens to Happy Days. It just didn't work out after that.
But I love the I know you have some feelings about this, but I liked the comedy of the movie, and
Some
I
of it was a
liked
little
the
tough,
kills,
bro.
But like I thought that was fun. It just didn't like it
There was
didn't always tonally
There was
work.
definitely some like shitty comedy in there, like definitely. But there was good stuff too.
Big John and Little John were the highlight of this fucking film.
Big John and Little
I
John was
loved it
funny.
so much. That's me and Bridget on like a Tuesday night.
When I went to the bathroom, somebody was like, oh my God, it was so cute. And this girl was like, so cute. He like stuck his fingers in his eyeballs. And he's like, yeah, but it was still cute. And I like texted that to like the group. And I was like, what the fuck?
I
They
am a
have to
little
be talking
confused though about the movie.
Jesus Christ, I forgot about that.
I was just like, what are you talking about? And then it happened. I was like, oh.
It seems insane to me that he had all this time and he never got to his house until this movie.
I mean,
like this dude can traverse a fucking terrain. You know what I'm saying?
That's because
he's
like,
all over the goddamn
that's
place.
because this movie is ignoring the first movie where he really was going after fucking Lori.
I know, and it's annoying. And why did they do it? It makes it so much worse.
Yeah, because they want to like have this whole thing about like what fear is and what it means to be afraid of something. And like,
I think
blah,
you can
blah,
be just
which
as
is
afraid of
fine.
something that like knows you and like is targeting you.
I
Like,
agree.
Yeah,
I don't know
hated-
why they had to make him so distant from her.
I hated that whole like he is fear and like because I mean like yes we get that that's what he's supposed to represent. I get it, but you don't have to spoon feed it to me.
And also,
I'm not a fucking
yeah.
child. I can get it. I can pick it up. If
And
you
also, like,
put
they
down
should be
breadcrumbs.
scared and they should be serious about this issue.
Well, absolutely.
And like also it just like feels a little bit shitty to me. Like how you were saying you like didn't like that they just like pushed her like off like that and she was not at
Yeah.
all related. It feels really shitty to me that like Halloween 2018 was so reliant on Jamie Lee Curtis's character and on Laurie Strode and on Jamie just being there. And like that was a huge pull for this movie was that she was back to like do her thing again.
Yeah.
And then like that was a pull for people to come and see this movie. And then in Halloween Kills, they were just like, you can just like be unconscious for like half.
Also, I do hate the title
Halloween Kills.
I hate it too.
because it's not at all what it
It's
sets out
so
to be.
Right.
dumb.
Like they're trying to make it sound like it's a Tarantino Halloween movie, which by the way he almost did make one. Halloween 6 was supposed to be made by Tarantino. Just
I wish he
did.
did.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And then it became The Curse of Michael Myers,
God.
the worst one.
Oh, I
Bad
do
movie.
like the season of the witch.
I was
Oh yeah, the
symbolism
season
in
of
the
season of the
beginning
witch
of this
reference was
movie.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the masks, that was really fucking cool.
Yeah. I liked that little.
She got so hyped.
I
She was
did.
like, she was going, "Where's the witch? Where's the witch?" And then you
was
come
like, oh
over,
shit, oh shit,
and there's a later scene where a
yes.
chick's like hung up and she's got the witch mask on. You. She's like,
yeah, that was
That was,
cool.
like,
And if you
nice.
remember, we like Season of the Witch on this podcast.
"Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's
we
a guilty
do.
pleasure."
Do you guys have a favorite kill?
That's a good question.
I have one. It was just like the hardest one to watch. The boyfriend kill. When
That
he
was
killed
good.
him on the banisters.
that was a little satisfying. I won't lie.
yeah. Well, and it was really like slow, and you think for a second that
Just a little.
well, it makes you think for a second that he's gonna live,
Yeah.
and like she's distracting Michael enough, but then he just comes by and cracks his neck. It's fucking crazy.
Horrible.
Dude, I wish someone would crack my neck like that.
Right?
That
I was
so-
thinking that. I was gonna say that.
I
I was
saw
like,
that. I was
no.
like, oh,
Do you
fuck.
have a favorite kill, Logan?
I just love the whole like kids in the park moment. I think it's great. Just them like there's some dumb man over there. He's playing behind. I get that that's not technically a kill, but that made it feel like so much like a real neighborhood.
Yeah, it can be slash
Right.
favorite scene.
I mean, like,
But
I've definitely met kids that were like, yeah, the guy's just over there, like, watching us. And I'm like, you should be concerned.
But I think my favorite like murder scene, I guess, is the one where it's like that lady with the drone and that man.
I was
because
thinking the same one.
They really come in like, fuck you. We're not going to be soft about this movie at all. We're going to brutalize these people in front
That
of
was
you.
going to be mine. And the thing I really like about that scene too is when he's like literally testing all of their kitchen knives on this man.
yeah,
Like he's like literally, he's
Insane.
like every knife in the block. And I'm like, ooh, that's
I know.
so fucking brutal.
I know.
I love it.
I said out loud, I'm like, it's an art installation. And somebody behind me laughed and I was like, that wasn't for you.
That wasn't for you.
That wasn't for you.
that was exclusively
you should
for
have turned
me.
around and be like, hey, if you like that joke, you should check out
Yeah,
Crosscut Cinema on
youtube.com/crosscut
YouTube.
cinema. You've
Oh my
probably heard of
God.
a pilot podcast.
We should just make cards, and every time somebody laughs at one of your jokes in public,
Just
That
turn
is
around
the
and-
cringiest, chuggiest thing I've
That's
ever heard.
Just hand him one.
That's the worst thing. I
Just
think
hand
it's
him one.
hilarious that you suggested
according
that.
to
It's so
internet comments,
fucking
I'm not
funny.
even that funny.
That would
Apparently,
make
Olivia
you-
Rodrigo's funnier than me.
That would make you look like the biggest asshole if you did that.
Yeah, it's so douchey.
Absolutely not. Yeah, no,
Just
I like.
And
No,
like, what's
it
worse?
just goes into
what if I make the joke and I think it landed and people are like fake laughing? I'm like, yeah.
it
Feel like
goes
that
into
one.
your ad, and it's like looking for more content.
Are you looking for more content? Check us out.
I hate that ad. The only reason I keep it is because I can't find that
I
music
like
anymore.
that ad.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
My favorite scene is not my favorite scene. My favorite kill is probably when he takes. I know it's like we mentioned it, but like when he's killing that couple and he takes the light bulb off.
Oh yeah,
And like there's a moment where he's just staring at it and you think maybe he's just gonna like not kill her, and then he just smashes it and does.
Yeah.
And like, it's hard to watch. It really is hard to watch.
Oh yeah.
But like,
And
God, if it wasn't.
That scene's also interesting because it's like he was thinking like this will be fun because there were knives in there, but he was like, I've never killed somebody with this. This could be interesting.
Right. Like,
Yeah,
you know that shit's
definitely.
And
like,
yeah, he was like all excited about it.
You could see the wheels turning in his head. He's like, I wonder what would happen if I just. And that's why I love it so much.
I like the controversial firefighter scene too.
Me too.
Just like
Same.
fucking slaughtering bitches.
Kill every firefighter in those movies.
And I
don't
mean,
care.
like,
It doesn't matter. I'm not like looking for Michael to be morally upset.
They're the ones
Right.
trying to save him. Those dumb fucks.
Exactly.
Like somebody else should have killed him. They're the ones who saved his
Well, in
ass.
fairness to them,
Fucking A.
they didn't know.
No, they didn't. But they should have heard Lori screaming.
Yeah.
Just like, let it burn. Let that motherfucker burn.
I also like that
So
moment,
we
though.
don't need.
Want to let that motherfucker
Fucker burn.
burn, motherfucker.
Burn.
Yeah, exactly. But he didn't. And then she didn't do anything else interesting for the movie except for she had some surgery, which
Yeah.
was hard to look at. But
It
also
was
you were like,
so
damn, she's in
hard.
shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I liked the conversations between her and the sheriff, and I liked like their like little moment together. But like, I feel like she deserved to be able to do more than just lay there.
Sheriff, you mean like the
Yeah.
officer who got like stabbed or whatever?
Yeah, the officer.
The sheriff is that one guy,
in the
right?
cowboy hat, right? Yeah.
he's
Sorry,
the
my
shit.
mistake.
He's the shit.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
was
women
cowboy
love
hat.
him.
I loved his cowboy hat. I was like, okay, we're serving looks. All right.
It would be. It was so funny. It's like every single scene he walked in, and he's like, I got so much drip. Like every
He
single
does.
scene, it'd be like a bunch of boring ass looking people, and this dude with a big ass cowboy hat. So funny.
You want to know my other favorite kill? Actually, I want to talk about one other one. Is when the woman in the nurse costume, who's actually a doctor, in her
I
nurse
love
costume,
that.
when she's trying to like kill him and she's trying to shoot him, and like the gun goes off and she ends up shooting herself. Like that shit is fucking wild.
Oh God.
You
yeah.
remember it? Like that scene
Yeah.
was like shocking. Everybody in the theater was like, "Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. That was crazy.
That car
I
scene
like-
was insane.
Oh my God. I like.
Especially because that scene was like very classically horror movie frustrating.
Yeah.
Like, bitch, you're wasting bullets. Oh, and then when the lady was trying to like, this is for you, Dr. Loomis, and then the gun was empty. Everybody
I
was
was
like,
screaming
I
inside.
heard one dude go, "Damn!"
Yeah.
same. I was like, damn.
That was brutal.
That was fucking brutal.
Like,
I liked
I
her.
didn't
She
get
was way
avenged.
better. She was like much better used than H2O. Like it just kept reminding me of like better versions of what this person was doing. So there was some frustration there when I saw her, and that was her death scene.
I think I remember somebody in the theater behind us, like when they think that he's in the car, and it's actually not him in the car.
No, it's not.
But like when they think it's him, I remember like them getting in the car, and then like the person in the back moving, and somebody behind us being like, "It's Michael Myers." I'm like, "Thank you, thank you for your help."
No, what happened was it was like here.
Was that the
what,
moment, I
what,
think?
what happened was is
No, it
she
was-
goes. No, you're kind of right.
Yeah.
What happened is she goes like, "What's the worst that can happen?" Because he like gave her the keys.
Yes,
Because she's drunk. He's like, "Just go sit in the car, don't drive." She's like, "What's the worst that can happen?" And then one dude yells out, "It's Michael Myers!" And he was in the back seat, but it wasn't him.
Well, that turns out
It was just so funny.
the worst that could happen could have been very worse.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, honestly, like, I feel like that
He-
guy wasn't really doing
He
anything.
fucking
He was
Yeah.
just scared
He
and made me
squeezed, he
sad.
squeezed John's eyeballs out.
Yeah, that
Insane.
was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm
Tearing
surprised
his
somebody didn't
face
say
off.
that was
Big
their favorite
John.
kill.
Fucking Big John.
Big John, dude. Oh, it was Big John. That's right. You're right.
It was Big John.
Yeah, because actually Big John was like smaller.
Big
than
John
Little
was smaller,
at the
but he had a
moment.
bigger personality.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct. That's why it was
definitely.
Big John.
Yeah, it was Big John. He was Little John. That was weird.
I
but,
liked
but
it. I
kind
thought
of
it was
cool.
funny.
No, I liked it because, like, how else are you gonna like if you're in a same-sex relationship and you have
I'm
the
not
same
talking about
name?
the fact that their names are John. I meant the fact that his eyeballs got peeled
Big
out.
John.
Oh yeah, no, I couldn't watch that. I closed my eyes.
As a gay person, I don't think I could ever date someone with my same name. I think it would be too weird. Like there can only be one, really.
Like,
Well,
what if
they
you
found
really
a way
fell in
around
love?
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what if you really fell
Franny,
in
what
love
if
with
my
someone?
And
Franny,
Little
what if my
Madison?
name was Franny? Would you still be into me?
Big Franny and Little Franny.
So Bridget, if my name was Bridget, you wouldn't think that was weird. It would be weird.
No,
Oh, all right,
I would
then.
either just go by. I would either go by like a different nickname or something.
You would
or-
change your name for me.
Yeah,
That's love.
Wow, that's crazy.
I mean, I'm already gonna be changing my name for you, baby.
Aww.
Gay.
They're gonna be Big Bridget and Little Bridget. Oh my god.
She has to. Okay, if we're gonna do that, she has to be Little Bridget. I call her Little Bridget anyway.
She
There you
does.
go. Actually, my mom calls you that a lot too.
Yeah.
So you just
She
become
picked it
big
from you.
Big Bridget then.
Yep, I'm
That's
Big
your
Bridget,
new
bitch.
identity.
All right, guys. We talked about the brutal ending. Did we talk about him looking into the mirror, the window? Didn't people have things to say about that?
Cool symbolism. I liked it.
I liked it, but I feel like they could have just left it at like, you know, maybe he was just looking at himself. I didn't like that there was like maybe that he could see the darkness inside himself or something like that. They said some stupid line. I'm like, you could just left it and maybe he was seeing his reflection.
I kind of fucking liked it though, for real.
It just felt like spoon
I fuck with it.
I fuck with that.
Why are you getting so trashy toward the end of this?
I kind of liked it. I like.
You sound like your designer bags are fake right now.
I like the idea that he is trying to go home. Like, I think that's like a cool concept.
But he went home and then he left again.
And I think that it can exist alongside him going after Lori. I think it's like Lori and going fucking home and to stand in his fucking spot.
I think,
like, I thought that was cool, and I thought that was a cool way to like end it. At the
end of the day, he just wants to be left alone at his house and not to be bothered, you know?
We should just let Michael just live in his house.
Yeah, just
so he can stop being a menace.
What's that one picture you had as your background for years? It was like Michael with a knife, and it was like all cutely drawn. I was like, never give up.
Yeah, it said never give up. His determination is fucking killer, honestly.
Really is.
Literally.
Man, it's dry.
Oh my God, yeah. He's determined.
If I want to have the determination that he has. I don't want to have the motives.
He can genuinely do anything he sets his mind to.
He literally doesn't die because he just doesn't want to. I feel like in my soul, he's just like, nope, I'm not going to die, bitch.
Mind over matter, baby.
That's Mila energy for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just out of spite, he's like, fuck you, I'm living.
What do you guys think is going to like... Where do you guys think that this next movie is going to pick up?
Well, I've heard, and you said that like a lot of it is rumored to take place in 78.
Well, I think what happened is like they shot both of them back to back. I think they were lying to people to get them off the track of what they were shooting.
That makes sense.
Because a lot of the last things they shot were the 78 shots.
Yeah. I don't know what it's going to be.
I think they're both going to die.
Like Lori and
I mean,
Michael.
I feel like they
really
hinted at it.
And if they're doing it in the way they're doing it soon, they'll both be killed by like mentally ill therapists. If they keep it on the track they've been on, they'll both be killed by Hannibal.
They both go to like a fucking therapy session together to like work out their shit.
They have couples counseling.
Like,
yeah, like the next movie is just them learning to coexist.
Lori's like, listen, I feel attacked when you try to kill my everyone that I love, and
me and my whole family.
And Michael's just there,
and
like,
he just shrugs, like.
I just like to think of him as like just staring. He's just silent.
Apparently, that's all he does. There's no other reason for anything he does at all.
Nope.
Right.
Be looking.
Kind of annoys me. Just being real.
Yeah, I kind of didn't fuck with that.
It just felt like he was a fucking robot, and I'm like,
I felt like 5 seconds ago you just said you did fuck with that, but
you literally said I kind of liked it.
You actually said I kind of fuck with that.
I like the symbolism of like maybe he's like deeper than like we pretend, but I don't like the giving him no purpose for going after Lori. I think the going after Lori is his like destiny,
his reason to be.
Yeah,
it's
like really though. I think
but
that's what he's planning.
Right.
I know, but I don't believe
like
it. I like it being his epic destiny.
But they just told you it's not.
I know, but I don't fucking like
what
it.
If
and
they're lying?
And if they're lying, that's annoying filmmaking.
Because it feels like they go back and forth on it. Because
they do.
like.
Yeah.
In one scene, it's saying Lori has nothing to do with him, and then in the next scene, it's saying like maybe we both have to die for him to die. Like
that's her intensity,
I know.
and that's why it's a
intensity.
backstab to her character because she truly is haunted and sees this as her ultimate eternal adversary.
Yeah.
She sees him as everything she isn't, and he sees her as like, oh, that bitch.
Right.
Is it not the ultimate like
that's the ultimate fuck you. And it's
like so sad.
I feel like it
gaslighting.
The invalidation that she goes through, and it pisses me off because I'm like, she's been through so fucking much.
And I feel like
it's like when you hear about a dude stalking a girl and he's like, I don't really care about her though. It's like, but what the fuck do you mean? You're literally stalking this person.
Like you're literally like you're literally going to kill her. Like why do you do all this stuff? And like it's just a fucking coincidence? Is that what you're telling me?
It's just
it's
weird.
not.
And I feel like
be.
it does.
Yeah.
It's a disservice to Jamie Lee, who like I feel like they kind of low key used her to like revitalize the series, and then decided that she didn't matter in the next movie.
I agree.
And fuck you for doing that to Miss Jamie Lee Curtis. She didn't have to be here. She's got Activia money, bitch. She didn't have to come do this fucking movie.
God.
You know what I'm saying? Like she
Yeah.
didn't have to come and do this, but she did, and she was awesome. And like, why are you just gonna sideline her in the second movie and have her be unconscious for like 30% of it?
Yeah, and like
kind of fucking
And
shit.
make her a cop fucker.
Right.
Unfair. She
Which
has,
she
she has
should
no,
be fucking me.
she has no
Justice for
cop fucking
Jamie.
energy.
right. Jamie Lee says ACAB, and that's what I
But she
believe is the
doesn't.
truth.
She goes, all cops are bae, is what she actually means. Because
Right.
she's in love with that cop we've known for 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Who got
I mean,
stabbed
like-
in the first movie by the evil therapist and should have died because he clearly bled out.
Yeah,
What
I
the
feel
fuck
like he
was that? Did you guys hear that noise?
I did hear it.
That was Cody's chair. He's
Holy
still in the
shit.
room.
Shit.
Yeah.
He's been so still you haven't been able to see him, but now that he
See
moved.
him?
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't be able to see him.
I'm talking to Bridget.
Oh, Bridget.
Oh.
So Bridget lost her
specifically.
eyeballs, or she
No,
can still
they
see
came
them?
out.
They
Just
got,
like
like
fucking
Big John, yeah.
I was gonna say just like fucking
All
Big
right,
John.
let's wrap this up. This is just making me angry at this point.
All right.
All right.
I rate this movie a 9 out of 10. It was just missing something for me. I don't like it loses a point because of what it's trying to say about Miss Jamie Lee.
Yes.
I'm gonna say an 8.5. It gets just like half a little bit higher than the last one because it is scary as shit. And that's what I go for these movies for. I want a safe space to be scared.
Hell yeah.
And like that's what I wanted and that's what I fucking got. So like I have to give it half a point, but I didn't like the mental health and I didn't like how it spoon fed us ideas. And thank you. I'm smart enough to figure out that when he's actually looking at his own reflection, he's seeing a monster. Like, yeah, thank you. I'm not fucking stupid.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Agree.
She's like,
I
I
hate
like
that.
it better than the other
I
one,
hate
but
that.
fuck this movie.
No, I just hate that when like things are spoon fed to us. It was something that always just like bothered me in like any media I consume. I'm like, I'm not fucking a fucking idiot. Thank you.
Mermaid pussy.
Mermaid pussy.
Yes.
That's-
I'm gonna give this. I'm also gonna give this an 8 out of 10. I think I liked it equally as much as the first one.
You
but for
really
different reasons.
liked it when we got out of there.
I was very hype. I had a great time.
That's
watching
why.
it.
That's why I kept saying
to
like
me-
I need a minute because I know I'm riding the adrenaline of seeing the movie, and
Yeah.
like I need an actual moment to realize.
And
how
to
I feel
me,
about
the
it.
theater experience is really important, and I get a lot out of that as a person. So that like always impacts my ratings, and I can't
Yeah.
help it. But I give it an 8 out of 10 because I liked it. I think I enjoyed it an equal amount to the first one, but for different reasons. And I think that the problems of the first one are fixed in this movie, but then it has different problems. So for that reason, same for me. I rate them the same. I think they're just like equally overcomplicated and equally in need of somebody to come in there and edit it and take out the parts that don't work.
It's a 10 out of 10 dumpster fire that I'll definitely watch again.
Hell yeah.
100 times probably.
It's really
Same,
fun to
actually.
watch.
Yeah.
Like, this is a very entertaining movie.
Yeah, like
It
for
was
all the
fun,
shit I
for sure.
talked, I'd still watch it again.
If you're not a
I
person
still
who
love
like
it.
cares a bunch about like Halloween lore and about like Halloween,
This is
as
the
a
movie for
series,
you.
This is the one, and it's good.
Yeah,
But if you like care about that shit, you'll probably have issues.
Yeah, because they'll totally destroy everything you know about the character.
Yeah, it
It'll
is
kick
nice
you in the
though
face
that
and
like
be like,
anybody
"Fuck you."
anybody going to the theater to see this, even if they don't
Yeah.
know the lore, is gonna have a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Anyway, I think we should go ahead and wrap this up then. Guys, if you liked us, you can, if you like me and Franny, you can also listen to us on a pilot podcast.
Yeah.
Say hi, Cody. Say hello to the people. They missed you.
Hola. How are you?
Oh god, that microphone.
You
moving
can't
was
even.
painful.
It was like-
he won't even lean in.
Yeah, not even for his fans.
Hi guys, how are you doing today?
Oh, that's so
Thank
crisp.
you for tuning in to Crosscut Cinema. I really appreciate it. You guys supporting my friends. It's a great time.
Thanks for being an audience.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a
I
little
love that.
cameo from the boy.
But anyway, you can check out youtube.com/pilot podcast for that content. We review TV show pilots on that channel with me, Franny, and our buddy CL here. And we have an American Horror Story video out right now, that a lot of people have been loving. We
It's
also
great.
have our annual Halloween special coming out near Halloween and some
OMG.
bonus content and stuff.
CL Blue.
What a ringtone too. That was fun.
I love that.
We are now looking
Hilarious.
for a new co-host for a pilot podcast.
One has been promptly fired.
Oh my god, if we get copyright claim 2 videos in a row.
Oh,
Oh my god.
If I have to go back to fucking copyright school, I will just have to die. I will have to die.
Thanks for taking one for the team. on
R.I.P.
that.
to the Venom video. If you watched that before it got taken down,
You're a
You
real
can still
one.
listen to it everywhere else. Go listen to it on Spotify.
Yeah.
oh yeah, hell
Yeah.
yeah. Listen to the forbidden content.
Oh
The
my
forbidden
God.
content.
Ooh, what's in there? Ooh, don't you want to know? Listen
It's
to it on
like,
Apple
why did we
Podcasts
get
and find
copy-
out, and then also
so
rate it.
Spicy. All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Wait.
Anything else? Oh yeah, you have a whole other podcast to plug.
Yeah, I have a whole other channel.
I have a plug.
If you like listening to my content, you want to check out extra content from these people or the extra things that I'm doing, you can check it out youtube.com/Logan Tyler. Sorry, Logan Tyler Music, but I fuck
Are you gonna say it
up.
every time?
Every time.
Okay.
I love that. I love that
It's
you.
mutually beneficial because people will go check his stuff out and like him, so he won't be mad at me for stealing that domain.
I really love that you do that
Fair
every
enough.
time. It's great.
It's a little thing we have going back and forth. He hasn't swung one way at all, but we'll see.
Great. Do you check? Are you like checking? Anyway,
I'm just not into like a bunch of like really like lovely looking white people like all singing songs together. It's just not content that I'm looking for all the time.
I see.
So I never end up there. But there's definitely people out there that would love it. It looks so wholesome.
Aw.
But
good.
it's my URL, bitch.
I have a Redbubble and an Instagram, and the Redbubble link is in the bio. You can buy the things that I draw on shirts and shit, and I think it's pretty cool. And there's some spooky stuff on there. So if you like spooky
Lots
things,
of spooky things, actually.
that's a place you can go.
Oh yeah, it's some good shit.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Help me. I'm dying. I'm trying to quit my job, guys. Help.
Yes.
And you can also help by liking this podcast
Yeah,
and sharing it with your friends and leaving
for
comments
sure.
and
We have a
rating us and
Patreon
reviewing
even.
it.
And donating to the
Mm-hmm.
Patreon. Shout out to Louie and Little Man.
Hell yeah.
Hey, Louie and Little Man.
All right, guys,
bing,
it's
bada
been
boom.
real. We'll see you soon.
Happy Halloween.
Motherfucker.
Spooky.
Happy Halloween, motherfucker.
We're gonna talk about spooky stuff. Brains and
Trick or
stuff.
treat.
Boo.
It's gonna be Halloween.